Transcend humanity with Omen.
What is that?
It's cutting-edge VR, Flynn.
It looks like it's something from the future, you know?
Flynn took a trip to future London, saw something she wasn't supposed to. Now people from there are trying to kill us.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Amazon University Esports UK and Ireland. Connie here, alongside David Corski, Man the Killer, and this broadcast is brought to you by Omen, Prime Student, and Prime Video. Make sure to check out some amazing films and series such as The Peripheral. You can watch it over at amazon.co.uk/prime/video. Now James, come on, let's get into the action here right now. Bracket has about quite a bit and there's been some upsets and some shockers.
Yeah, no, definitely jumping right back into the bracket. So currently, for anyone who doesn't know, DMU versus Undateable's finally lower bracket final winner. This brings us goes against the Swansea Tsunami at the LAN finale in Confetti. Very excited for that. Cannot wait to see who goes to take this right to the end. But we've already done the map bans. We've already done picks and bans. We're going to be jumping right back into it. We are wasting no time, ladies and gentlemen, with it. But yeah, I mean, it's exciting, and I think the teams are going to really pull everything out here.
I think in terms of it all, okay, I have not seen the Monsters. Well, actually, I saw the Monsters once on my first week of Null, and I believe they're against another Nottingham team. I think not the best. They won in the very last map. It was a reverse sweep, and seeing them go through the winners bracket, eventually losing to Swansea Tsunami is, of course, disheartening in my end because I did watch them, perform so well in that series initially. But they still have a chance of redemption. Losers finals now coming up against the Undateables, and even their run itself is quite miraculous. You got to admit, James.
Oh yeah, no, it's been real clean. Everyone's been really turning up. Even last week, I mean, we've been seeing a lot of people really tear everything up. But yeah, I mean, as you were saying, Undateables, I haven't really been able to keep up with as much. DMU always seem to keep coming up for me, even as someone that struggles to keep up with the esports scene because every time there's a new name. But yeah, I think map bans are basically ready to go. So if we jumping back into them, we do see, so map 1 Icebox, map 2 Ascent, and the final deciding map Pearl. Icebox was DMU's pick, Undateable's pick defense, Ascent was Undateable's pick, obviously DMU picked attack, and then Pearl, DMU were lucky enough to get the defense pick there. So what do you think, Connie, in terms of that? Anything that's interested you? Anything that's popping out?
Well, in terms of Icebox and Pearl, I think it's 50-50 in terms of the attack and defense rounds. I mean, Ascent, the average in terms of defense to attack is 8-4 after the first half. So that's a bit more, one-sided to definitely more defense. But having Icebox and Pearl, I think it shows good variety. We see definitely clashing comp picks or even some mirror comp picks because right now, the way the Valorant game state is in, you're seeing quite a wide variety of success based on many different styles of play.
Oh yeah, 100%. No, I mean, we've seen, a lot of people have been hearing Killjoy meta kind of throw up, but that's not even necessarily true because of just how impactful a lot of the roster is. I mean, unfortunately, it's not there, but Chamber being able to creep his way back in just for that control of Lotus.
Good point.
Yeah, exactly. Breach kind of coming through, the Viper picks, the double controller we're seeing a bunch of, which I'm so happy for, and I need Harbour to get all the love he deserves because he deserves so much love, and he gets none of it.
I think particularly as well, let's just highlight one thing. So in terms of the way that, Axix has gone to the very end, we're going to be seeing Bind return to the map pool, and that in itself is very exciting. Probably, raises some other questions to highlight what's going to leave in place of Bind. Maybe Ascent, in my opinion. It hasn't really had a revamp in a while, and could be reworked to the point now where it is matching the same level of 50-50 consistency on either side, for the general map pool, because in terms of it all, we would love to see that, I think.
I mean, I think everyone... it's very difficult to find someone that genuinely dislikes Bind. You can have someone... I mean, I remember my luck with Bind. I played it 9 times in a row, and I never wanted to touch the bloody map again. This was ages ago, but it was back whenever. But now that we are getting... I mean, how many maps are now in the game? 9, I believe. Maybe only 8. I might be missing one there, but it has gotten to the point where, more Bind. More Bind.
More Bind. Fantastic.
More Bind.
But other than that, James, we're now going to be heading into the agent select here. Of course, the Monsters Undateables, the Undateables on defense side first, which is definitely, releasing tension a little bit. They're going to have a much easier time off the rip, but basing off the comp picks right here, we are seeing what looks to be almost a mirror-like kind of comp setup.
Yeah, I mean, as you were saying, it can be. It looks exactly. Yeah, if Grieveless gets that pick, this is exact mirror and very terrifying to go on Icebox. A lot of the times I will say team comp. You know, you can make some stuff work, but Icebox, yeah, Viper's queen of this, Sova's king of that. At Sage, you know, just to keep that tube control. Jet just to absolutely take all the space in the world, and then Killjoy. Once you have it, you lock it down. And I say that, and I choose those words very, very carefully when I say it. And yeah, we are jumping right in.
As it is right now. Lots of stuff on the line for this series. Really to highlight the macro of this. The winner of this will go through to Null Finals at Confetti and punch themselves from train tickets up to Nottingham. Really is going to be quite a nail biter to watch. You don't want to miss it. And even more to that, the Monsters coming from Winners Finals and Undateables making their historic run to reach here at a monumental apex point. It really is going to be an absolute barn burner, my friend.
No, 100%. It is going to be very just. I'm hoping clean. I'm hoping this is going to be clean. We're going to be, and we've seen a lot of this even last week. You know, once we get to the end kind of brackets, and these teams are going to be really realizing now that they can make it right to the end. We're hoping you're going to be seeing some really clean executes, really clean retakes, and yeah, a big tug of war, as I've started to put it. Here we go. Yeah, first swing from Bola. Immediately both Jets clash and trying to create that space against each other. Exactly what you want to see, and yeah, just feeling each other out.
I think as well, when you're kind of evaluating this right now, it's very passive from both sides here. Information will be clear from Polar's side, especially on the Undateables. They've committed very heavy towards A here. Only Archie holding mid right now with the Ghost. Very much a instinct play at this point, but now we're seeing a slow rotation over towards B. Spike, of course, in hands of Chromazoni, who previously, the last series where I watched, did shine to the brightest of lights, and we'll look to up here again against the wonderful side of Undateables. But as utility goes out here again, so Dart will go through, nothing really connects, and now we're just seeing the Viper Wall come into effect. Here's Zero, though, playing in some great positioning on side top tower.
Killjoy needs that. We did see that setup. So nightmarish, as I was saying. Keep that side control if you've got it. Trying to get onto Chromazoni to stop the plant. Spike does go down, but Archie good for one. Now 4 versus 5 hold for the side of the Monsters. Space being really taken. The Sova drone coming out from Zeevil, really trying to clear out, get a lot of that information, but they are a man down already. Rudy Boy actually coming through mid, getting taken down completely by Archie. The stage wall gonna go up. Yeah, I think that's gonna be Undateables cleaned it up. They get it to half. The Viper Pit does take down custody at the very least, but that health is going to just keep taking down. Zero goods for one, Tanko good for another. And that brings us 1-0 on Undateables.
And after that is a fantastic retake to get your mental in order and kind of get the pacing and flow of the map. I really think as well Undateables had everything to lose there in terms of the setup coming heavy towards A, but the rotation was clear, it was in time, and even after utility, the initial Sova recon and the Viper Wall, they managed to reposition and find the correct kills. The information wasn't lackluster and the execution was pretty spot on there, James.
Yeah, no, 100%, man, 100%. Couldn't say it better myself. Genuinely, I want to point out to Archie for opening that, for keeping that retake really alive. I mean, we've seen Rudy Boy slide all the way down mid, get a couple of shots into Archie, only to be greeted with two ghost bullets, one to the body, one to the head, immediately taken out. What could have been such a pivotal flank in the terms of keeping that spike held down, ended up just completely collapsing because of those shots. Brilliant shooting from Archie to start us off.
It will be a faster adjustment though. Going to be a full A hit here for the side of the Monsters. And Undateables though again, here's starting to be formation. Will be lots of suppressed shots going down in mid. Sean the Sheep doesn't really want to commit to anything too yet. Life is very much important right now. But so it's custody battle again. Spots one, but there comes Tanko and Sean the Sheep. They were two clear in the feed. Rudy Boy and Crum is only falling alongside Archie onto Polar. But there's a constellation trade in terms of Grieveless there. The show shots come in, but so does Z-Evil getting another. Still though, the man advantage is in favor of Undateables. And even after all that, it's a clear wipe custody battle. Wiping up the rest of the kills in the feed there. And 2-0. Undateables looking very strong off the rip here.
Yeah, looking very, very, very smooth. Granted, I mean, to be fair, if you're the Monsters, not too unhappy about that. You take out 2 guns. Any econ damage is econ damage that you want to keep going. You know, every round counts. Every gunfight counts whenever you get to this kind of level. Just because every little helps, really, in terms of either econ, in terms of the gun, in terms of just either the difference between, a heavy shield and a light shield. As you can see, Tanko and Zeev, well, actually, both Sovas, thematically, I think, speaking, being on the light shield's very nice to see. But yeah, very, very solid play from Undateables so far. Now the Monsters with the gun advantage.
And that was now getting a little more aggressive. I think really has found some comfort in progressing forward into mid here, but Polar spot straight away. Clear headshot goes through. Custody battle again here. During all of that, aggressive forward into mid, but Rudy Boy finds a swing, and it's cleared for another. Undateables really have slipped the mark here. 3 players dropping an instant. The Monsters now, with 73 left on the clock, will commit heavy towards A here. The only thing stopping them is this Viper wall here, James.
No, exactly, Connor. You do see it, and I mean, granted, to be fair, it's going to be a bit difficult for Undateables. You know, they are the lower gun def, but they do want to be taking 1 or 2 guns off the Monsters, and so far they are looking close to a flawless. I think it depends. When does Archie swings evil, immediately getting that pre-fire through. Polak actually trying to push in for the kill, instead getting picked up by Tanko. The Sova Dart's going to reveal, not going to be able to get too much off of it, but that's at least 1 gun down for the Undateables, as I was saying. 2 versus 4 retake now for Archie and Sova. Can they do it?
Difficult though. Archie shuts down, and even after that, the Sova drone goes out and misses. But more, we tagged up Chromazini though, finds the last into Archie. Now it's just Tango left in a 1v4 situation here. He is all alone on top of heaven, and it's just been taken down. A sheer shutdown for the Undateables as the Monsters get run back on the board here, and a bonus in the books. Now, in terms of the economy and the way it's looking here, James, going to be seeing a full buy on the Undateables. But, you know, the Monsters again here, still flirting with some ideas.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I mean, we do see. I mean, it's basically, as you said, yeah, full buys kind of coming out. Basically, both teams able to, yeah, get them full buys. Definitely. One thing I do want to see a bit more of, because I haven't been seeing it too much. The ults all looking very even. Which, whenever, you know,
especially
on Icebox, yeah, like especially even when you're on Icebox, that can, you know, like get some more ult orbs, boys.
Love Sean's angle here as well, but it will be in consolation as the Monsters have completely shifted their ideas now towards B. Getting the Killjoy set up there with some great utility to make sure the push is at least staggered for now. But off that, the Viper and Sova will now rotate alongside. Viper goes up, and so does the Recon drone. Gonna attack nobody just yet, but there comes your first shots through the Viper wall. Nothing really connecting so far, though. Still very stuck with either side here. Grievous though will get some shots down in Constellations. Evil and Polar will go fast, but Archie, off of that, has the adjustment in time. And even there, Zero and Chromazoni trade out more in the feed. Tanko, though, is gonna be the last one to answer that.
Yeah, no, 3 versus 2. Very even, as we were saying. Yeah, tug of war kind of going down. Custody gets Rudy. Grieveless immediately picking that up. It's Sean and Tanko versus just Grieveless. Picked up, know exactly where he is. And yeah, Sean going to completely shut Grieveless out of that round with an absolutely gorgeous dart from Tanko. 3-1 Undateables.
Also, Sean as well, keeping you up in play for the next round. You have to note as well that in terms of Polar and Sean, been very quiet so far off the initial. And we again talk about the ults and the orbs available. 4 players on Undateables there, only 2 away from getting their ults. So we're seeing a lot of all plays potentially around this round in particular. But even there and again, the Monsters are just setting up nice and prepared on to B and A. But even that again, it's a huge variety of switch ups here. We're seeing a lot, James, in terms of 5 hits towards A and B, almost alternating each round.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things whenever you are kind of, you know, trying to work out your attacks. The Monsters, unfortunately, not being able to quite get something, maybe come up with it as we get a little bit of what it looks like a technical timeout. Hopefully nothing too major as the timer stays on that ever round 10, which is very nice. It would be a shame if it was an 8 or a 7, something ugly like that, but yes. As you said, yeah, you completely covered it, Connie. Alternating sites, basically. The teams are very good so far at finding out where the other team aren't, but Undateables are just, they've got that retake. They've got that retake down.
And let's go even further, James, into what I know already about the Monsters. When I last saw them again on broadcast, it was a fantastic reverse sweep. Again, not the best, but again, we're seeing what looks to be similar scoreline here in the first map. They are down and in the dumps, but have the potential to come back later on in the series. One thing to note importantly about this team as well. But the real catalyst here is the Undateables and their run so far in losers. They've been in pretty much every situation there with only 1 lifeline being thrown to them. The Monsters falling into winners could potentially be a huge huge detriment, don't you think?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, particularly as well, you've got to remember they did lose to our current grand final setting. So the Monsters, even if they are able to kind of bring this back, they have to go against the team that already beat them once, and that can be very scary. You know, sometimes some people really do like that kind of underdog story, and they really go into it going, no, this time we've learned from our mistakes. We're happy to kind of bring it back and show you what we've got this time. But you know, panics, nerves. It's very tense. That's
always a huge factor as well. And listen,
yeah,
the nerves are going to be high at this point as well, because the winner of this series will progress through and punch their tickets into the Confetti Land Amazon University Esports Finals on April 22nd and 23rd. Don't miss that when it does come up. And right now, again, it's going to be what looks to be after this pause a committed A and a huge spread here from the Undateables. They really are committing to lots of individual value and presence in the gunfights early, but overall not too bad.
Yeah, I like it, and as you said, you're very, very accurate point there, Connie, because everyone is playing split, but it's because Undateables so far seem so confident in their gunfights. The Monsters have had a few kind of swings, but Undateables so far seem to be the ones walking out of it, and we do see the ult orb actually getting picked up there from the side of the Monsters. Yeah, that's going to enable the Viper's Pit, basically locking Sean the Sheep out, immediately being used. Love to see it. You don't want to be sitting on those ultimates for ages and ages, and them getting no value. You'd rather just use it, even if you don't get the most amount of value. You've got site control, you've got something here, you've got a lot to work with, and the Monsters know it.
Already onto site. Viper's Pit will go through. Now forcing Netables here to retract back a little bit. They can't really force aggression. They have to respect the ultimate in play. Spark will go down though, and even off that, a recon dart will be thrown. Sean the Sheep though holding a very tight angle here. Nothing really coming through though, because the Monsters now can play post plant effectively. Only flying what they can. The drone will only tag what it sees inside of the pit. We'll spot two. No dart goes through though. So at this point now, you're forcing close range battles. Archie in custody, trading out 2 apiece there with Zevil and Grieveless. Now in a 3v3 situation here, but with the judge, Grieveless is finding so much efficiency there. 2 more in the feed. Now bulleting the numbers a little bit here, but so will the mollies, and so will Grieveless find his form. Even more execution. He wipes down for that round, and it's huge for the Monsters. Now they can get 3-2, and just simply gorgeous to watch.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. One thing I do want to say, Grieveless obviously stealing the show in terms of the kill feed, but Chromazone absolutely Mr. President in Grieveless, getting in the way of the Sova drone, getting it broken immediately. They had no info on where the Grieveless was, they had no info. Grieveless had a judge. You can assume if there's a Viper in the Viper's Pit, there's going to be a judge echoing through in that smoke, but they couldn't clear it for sure, and because of that, yeah, Undateables did really lose out. They do have some rounds, or ultimates, sorry, to take that back, but the guns aren't there, Connie. The guns aren't there.
Polo though, going fast up top. Will throw a smoke now, trying to get a one-way for players crossing over. But unfortunately, Undateables are fit into a very passive hold here, and definitely the right choice if you are gonna at least accept the pressure here from the Monsters. Zero playing a great angle of the Sheriff. Polo's been spotted out straight away. Tanker there, just putting the spread shots down. Almost warning shots, if you will, because now it's forcing the Monsters to play a bit more static. Spark though is still floating around mid. No sight really has been committed there, but 75 seconds on the clock. They can coordinate a slow A, and I think that really is gonna be the plan here right now, James.
Yeah, it does look like there seem to be rotating Grieveless kind of coming through, hopefully for them, not getting caught out in the middle by the Undateables, but if so, I mean, we've seen what happens, you've seen it so many times. The Sheriff in the right hands is absolutely as deadly as any other weapon, if not more, so just because of the fact that Undateables do have that gun disadvantage, it doesn't mean they can't take 1-2 kills, get the guns, and then maybe bring up something. It will come down to Tango. Shots come through, doesn't find anything, Silver Dart kind of slows down, actually picks up 2. Yeah, and the spray is going to go through from Tango, very confident, very well played. Polak going down, and immediately the Monsters getting slowed down. The res comes out really, really effectively, but the Soviet, yeah, the Hunter's Fury coming through, finding lots of tags. Picks up Grieveless.
Chromazone, they're finding 2 more. So only a 43, 1 man up, but 25 seconds left on the clock here. You ready to force plays early, Spark will go down, and off that, the smoke from the Jet will look to cover the majority of Chromazone's play there. But even off this right now, the Killjoy has to be respected because Lockdown has come online. And we're even off the reset, and the 7 seconds left of this play. We're now seeing a much better spread from Undateables. They're sort of making sure the choke points are forced early. Z Evil will find 0 off the great swing. Belt, though, will be a lot of presence here. The Monsters are trying to execute. Polo gets another one to Archie. And now it's a huge 1v4 as the whittled down players on the majority of Undateables can't deal with the Monsters even after that great use of the ult. It's going to have a run to the books here, tying up 3-3, heading into round 7.
Tanko, meet 4 people. 4 people, meet Tanko. Introduce yourselves with a hail of bullets as Tanko, unfortunately for him, dropped. The ultimates used there, very back and forth. We had Polak immediately go down, getting rezzed, immediately followed by the Hunter's Fury from Tanko. Immediately then, the lockdown from Zero to try and get that control, and Zevil just completely tucking himself in that little corner for Sanctuary, picking up Zero. And I want to say from Undateables, maybe that belt pressure was too high, but tapping the bomb whenever you're protected by a Killjoy lockdown maybe cost them it.
Oh, definitely. But at this point now, they have to try and throw everything out early because the way Undateables play on the defensive side here, they really like to coax out the utility first from the Monsters and then play a massive retake off the counter spam. But the way it is right now, B of course will be on the menu here. And Undateables looking very strong right now, just shifting slowly through. Archie again here has got a Viper's Pit to play with here. And only 2 mollies in the books, but majority of setups though, again the Killjoy, Nano Swarm, and even the turret will look to get pressure early. The dart will go out from this over there, get shot down instantaneously, and during all of that calamity, Evil finds Archie.
Oh, Archie getting absolutely taken down by Zeevil's Sonar Dart there. Tried to slide into the smoke. It was very risky. It was very cheeky, but unfortunately for him, not just enough. Rudy boy going to get the plant down now. Yeah, behind the wall. Not only that, gets himself the lockdown. That's going to be a lot of a firewall for the Undateables now to push through. Hunter's Fury, Jet Knives, and lockdown. All they have is a Sage Res, maybe one of the strongest ultimates in a lot of situations, but it is not this situation. As now the post-plant situation really going to come through. Custody swings in, takes out Polak, and Yellow Control slowly starting to get taken by Undateables. As that spike takes down.
Molly only separating Zero from pushing forward onto Yellow, and does in fact find a counter Grievous regardless. And now we're seeing a lot of support here as well. The majority of them there was Hero just collapsing so fast onto the monsters. Hunter's Fury will be called online, and only off that they will find one. But overall, a 3-2 split here as Z-Evil now makes a 1v1, and during all that, the detain from the Killjoy ult does in fact take care of Shaun the Sheep, and that will just be enough for the monsters there to get around on the board after the post plant. Well played, even in moments of hecticness, they really showed through. And Hunter's Fury, you can't not argue it was the difference maker here in this round.
I mean, yeah, whenever you're Undateables in a post-plant situation, you gotta rush down 3 players protecting a Killjoy lockdown, Sova in the background pelting you with the Hunter's Fury. Very difficult to really make any sort of space. The monsters completely splitting off that B site and making it look very easy to keep in a post-plant situation. 2 ults still though for the Undateables. The Viper's Pit, as we've already seen, as the Viper's Pit, we've already seen from the side of the monsters getting some serious value. Are Undateables going to be able to do the same? And then that Sage Res once again similar. We've seen it get some value for the monsters.
Now only 70 seconds left on the board here. We'll play for the orb. Not too bad of an idea here from Zero, but Devils right now are just sort of flirting around. They realise that there's been no information given on B. We'll slowly rely on the A, but the way the monsters are playing it again here is to bait on information early and then force a slow retake onto B and catch the majority of Undateables in the backline. Now even the shots will go down, but no player on either team here really has read the pressure that either is committing. Now we're starting to see the monsters aggress forward here with 6 seconds left, and it's going to be a wise move. Even off that, you're hoping that maybe the Jet and Sova can play for a lurk kill on A, but no, Undateables are playing a very much a safe rotation here. Only a different route through mid where we start to see the Sova push through on the side of Undateables, but even there and then, the wall is available and Dash will be there for Polar if need be.
And we do see now, yeah, the monster's already made it through. The thing's going to go through. Zeevel finishes off Tango as the util starts coming through now. The Cloudburst, the Sova darts. Polak finding a gorgeous angle onto Shaun the Sheep underneath the Cloudburst. The plant now going down for the monsters. 5 versus 3. Undateables need to find something, but with these guns, with this gun disadvantage and this man disadvantage, it's going to look like all they can hope for is doing a bit of decon damage to the monsters in custody. Leads the charge into this retake. As the smoke goes up, Zeevel finds one. Sees the Sheriff of the other, doesn't quite get the pick and has to back up. Zero actually picks up Grieveless, nearly picks up Zeevel, but will be kit traded off as the spike just ticking down. It's only custody now. There's going to be no res, there's going to be nothing. Zeevel making sure that there's no one getting out of screens. Custody has to just find this shot onto Zeevel, but can't do it, and Chromazoni finishes him off, bringing us up to 5-3 for the monsters.
At this point now as well, James, just asking questions for the Undateables. You saw the monsters there, 3-1 down at the start. Now have chained the wonderful rounds together. And it's reflecting as well, you see here on the tab. Now, 3 ults available to the 2 on the monsters. And majority of Z-Evil's plays have been impactful. 10 kills that you're seeing there on the scoreboard have been rotational kills or head-to-head. So the majority of Undateables' pressure has been eliminated on short term. And we can even go further into that. Because on the defensive round, where arguably you could say it should be an easier time for Undateables to get things done, the monsters have just simply outclassed and outperformed in many different ways.
Yeah, it seems to be. I mean, I was saying that earlier, and you raised a great point by saying that, Connie, because even the ult usage that we've seen, Undateables are still sitting on that Viper's Pit, and I know it's very difficult to get a lot of value out of it on Icebox other than just locking out B or A site, but there are times where maybe you just have to decide that that's enough. You have to accept that value, because otherwise you will get greedy and you will get taken down and punished for it. Zero rotating through mid. The opposing Killjoy hearing it and just lurking all the way through. Custody picks up Grieveless. Wow, the trades are just coming back and forth.
2-3 now, and Datable's there with 61 seconds on the clock, but the Monsters spike has been dropped on A, and that is going to be a very difficult retake if you are on the Monsters to get back onto the spike. Really though, finds one there just to make sure it's 2v2, but time is slowly trickling on down here, and even that, the res will come in, so Zero now is back into the fray of things, and even off that, the Vipers will for now will just hinder information for the most part. The Monsters at this point though did manage to get spike back in hand here. The call though is very much a simple one, and it's a great play. Gonna rotate fast to be here. Undatables again, slowly going to shift through because at this point here of repositioning, it can be a difficult read, but the turret placement again here was a great pre-round setup from the majority of Zero.
Oh, poor Rudy boy, trying to get that value, but isn't going to get much. Just has to hope that one of the undateable swings through Kitchen rather than Snowman, but no, it's all of them. The Killjoy turret going to activate. They know now where Rudy boy is, and they just need to try and stop this plant from Zeevil. They are at least going to get that down. Zero now swinging into Rudy boy. This timing is so crucial. Rudy actually able to get away with his life just barely. Zeevil's able to pick him up because of that custody. Finally picks him up, and it's 2 versus 1. Silvatar's going to come through. It's going to get shot. It's going to find at least one, but he doesn't know where the other one is. He knows where Sage is, but he doesn't know. And yeah, he will go down as Custody picks up a 4k and brings us 4-5, still up to the side of the Monsters.
And at that point as well, Datable's really had a lot of pressure and presence done there. I think the res is 1-0, bringing that extra man back into the fray of things was the call to make, and it was good. Regardless of that, when he comes back into the picture, the turrets come back online, and so does the nano swarm. So you're not really wasting, you know, the mid-round information that you so clearly need in that situation when it comes to a fake or rotation that the Monsters could commit. Simply excellent out of Undatables, because now heading into the majority here, round 10 on the cards, and it's looking pretty good for both sides here. Majority of the spies are going to be 50-50s, some light shield ops there and light shield vandals and a stinger on Polar, but I think they can find something to work with here on both sides.
Oh, Stinger's been nerfed, but still, sometimes you get yourself in that exact right situation. It's the most powerful gun. That DPS cannot be matched, even by an Odin in some cases. It absolutely tears things up. But Poli, yeah, getting the knives out instead. Much harder to hit with than the Stinger, but a lot more damage and a lot more value to get out of. The first 3 meg comes through. Zero finds 1, finds 2. Chrome is only good for 1 at least of custody, but Sean immediately peeks from Snowman, taking the head off the Sage. Absolutely not. That push will stop now, and it will stop dead.
Fantastic at this point now. 4v2, the Monsters here have been whittled down to just 2 players. Spark, though, is still being flirted around B. Viper did go up there again to make sure Dables can't cross the line or barrier, so you really got 2 ideas now. Try and play the plant on B regardless of that. Short and ship of the up is going to be a huge factor in making sure this is locked down. Even there, the Viper, backed by Snowman, could also add to the fray of things. But a huge shift here, rotation from Rudy Boy, just might cause a huge upset here. Although the dart will be toyed around with here. Tanko can't really find anything just yet. Rudy Boy, though, needs to get to 2 routes here through tube or wrapping deep. 37 seconds left to make up the play call, and Zero does in fact spot Rudy instantaneously. That's 3 for him this round now, as Grieveless, using the last of the wall, is going to be encountering Shaun the Sheep instantaneously. Does drop though on top of Tower, and in the swing though, you'll see Archie spraying down fast, but Grieveless gets it in there again. 4 HP, and the drone will not be enough as Tanko on the shock takes care of the Monsters. Undatables now tying it up. We're seeing 5-5 heading into round 11.
Yeah, definitely, and I do want to say, I mean, very well played from Undatables, very closely followed, but yeah, I mean, both Sovas have been so clean with their util. The Shock Darts have been finding value, the Hunter's Furies have been picking up kill after kill upon usage, so it is very well played from both of them. I do want to point out, though, Archie, you still have the same Viper's Pit from all those rounds ago. You need to be finding something soon with it, because otherwise this half's going to be gone and you're going to have nothing to show for it.
Well, this time it's going to be more of a fist fight. We are seeing a lot of pressure towards A right now. Only one lurking jet on B, but that really isn't the focus at this point because the Monsters are going fast. The site clearance is going to be the challenge to take here, and Datable's now will use the Viper's wall to keep things in the fray, and so will that drone from the Sova. Will get tagged up on Polar, but even there and again, though, it's great from the Datables. They really are keeping the pressure eliminated here on A, but even in that, a return Viper's Pit will try and look to give the Monsters the edge heading into this one. Tanko, though, playing very much an unorthodox off angle. It could find some pressure. The Zeevil now going to spam the Hunter's Fury onto an obvious spot, and nothing really found in turn for that. And now 60 seconds left here. It's going to be so devastating. The Monsters are also carrying with their own Viper's Pit as well here, James. And look at the trades go down so fast. 3-1, Chromazoni and Polar finding the majority, and now it's a 1v3 here. So hard for the Undatables to get this done and dusted because that jet was lurking the entire round.
Oh my days, yeah, that jet gets some value, but Sean just peeking. Is Pola going to overextend? Probably not, yeah, no, it looks like Sean's just happy, and particularly going off of that res just to back out, keep that up for next round, for the last round in the half. And going back over that round, because a lot of stuff did happen there. We did see the Hunter's Fury come through, didn't actually get any kills, but did destroy the lockdown, which gave the monsters the entire site. The Undateables having to use that lockdown to try and give them all that space, to try and counter the Viper's Pit from the monsters. It getting taken down, giving the monsters that space. They really Hail Mary or double Viper Pit from Archie to try and push back onto the monsters, immediately getting shut down though. Will be enough to give the monsters the 11th round as we move on to round number 12.
And it's just simply enough. The monsters have looked, pretty comfortable in a lot of chaotic situations that Undateables have tried to cause here. But again, this is the last round before the swap is. Undateables could tie at 6 apiece here. The monsters, though, will go on to the defensive side regardless of this round. The buys, though, again, reflecting it. Sean the Sheep has held on to the up for the majority of this. And the stat line has been pretty interesting here. 3 and 7 so far. I think you would say the Undateables do rely a lot on Sean's value of the up to get these rounds. But still, not to undershadow Tank or Batto and Zero, because they have carried enough here to get these trades in favor. The one thing the monsters are doing though, which is effective, is winning the man advantages and just having so many 4v2 or 4v3 situations in their locker after the first 20 seconds.
Yeah, no, and I mean, it's a brilliant point, Connie, because it's one thing I always ask. I always love seeing exactly how these First Bloods look at the end of each game, because a lot of the time it does come down to it. Whichever team has more of the First Bloods takes their games. It's very rare. I mean, man advantage is so important in a game like this, particularly because not only do you just have one more gun than your opponent, depending on which pick you've got, they have no more access to that util. If a Killjoy goes down, you mentioned it earlier, all of that utility in kitchen and on B side just immediately evaporates. And if you get someone like a Viper, well then no smoke. How do you split up the site? So a lot of it's super key. Speaking of the util being dealt with, the Killjoy is going to go down for the side of Undateables as the monsters get that push through kitchen.
It's enough now. Polar there finds Sean the Sheep though. Jet Battle's been one on the side of the monsters. But even off that, and then a swarm will go in effect. Tanker can't push as much as he'd like it, but Custody Battle has found the route here through. Only thing really keeping the monsters at bay here is again that Viper Wall, which is so effective in these pre-plant situations. Though Grievous again here has the pinch locked down alongside the Evil. But anyone player looking around will be Archie, given the Spectre in hand. Rudy Boy will see him almost instantaneously. We'll get some shots down here with only a molly in hands, wants to save it for a better situation. So Hunter's Fury will go out too as well. Polar though on his third for the round takes care of Tanko. Rudy Boy there finding Archie and Undateables. Now in a 1v5 situation here, Polar sweeps it for a flawless round. And that's enough, as now we're seeing it 7-5 there at the half.
Yeah, no, what an absolutely fantastic half. Very confidently played. Nothing too wild in terms of like flicks or insane plays done by one team member. That was all just consistent. That was all just really tight, really well executed plays from the entire team there. No one particularly doing anything incredible. We have seen Zevil and Tanko both do some pretty fancy stuff with the Sova utility, but all of it just opens up for the rest of the team. It's not been incredible shock dart lineups. We haven't seen, Hail Mary mollies or Killjoy nades that trap people in corners. It's just been very, very tight. No other word for it.
Understandable, my friend. But the Undateables right now are down 2 rounds heading into an attack, and one thing we have learned from the monsters attacking round in the previous 12 iterations of this map, it has to come down solely to their executions. They just run fast into sight and apply the pressure almost instantly. I think the one benefit of having the pistol round off rip here on attack side is that you can apply the pressure early and get almost really much an instantaneous man advantage here. But leading into it, you can glorify some instances now where we have seen the Undateables lackluster themselves despite the man advantage situations they have put themselves in, just failing to readjust at the very last minute and finding 2 necessary kills off of some clear information calls. But there and again though, we're very fast onto the site here. The one thing stopping the push here from Undateables is the Sage Wall, which will get shot down and tagged up. Polar though again, playing the pinch pretty much to a T. Only the Viper Wall there, cut information, but for the most part, it's a huge box setup here, and now we're seeing the monsters rush in as Archie finds a clear kill there and a 5v3 on the cards.
Oh my days, Chromosome not being found even with the Sova dart. That classic, that bullet tracer should have been found, but it wasn't. Sean the Sheep bailing Killjoy out there, absolutely saving the life. And what was a 5 versus 3 is now a 4 versus 2, sorry. So 1 each now down for the side. And Undateables, yeah, very smart. They do have the man advantage, they do have that timing advantage just to get that full rotate down. Get the orb as well, which is so key for Zero. That lockdown, probably one of the strongest ultimates now in the, actually definitely one of the strongest ultimates now in the game. Rudy getting a post plant setup though ready, doesn't want to give them that time. It's only 20 seconds left. Undateables, I mean, they do have the man advantage, but that time does still start ticking down. If custody goes down somehow, if they're able just to push through the smoke and pick him up. Unfortunately, not Rudy, though. Going down to Archie. The spike now going down, and Chromazoni very, very fast. The dreams have ran out probably for them.
Chromazoni hasn't got a lot to work with here as well. Just a single self-heal, but Sean the Sheep will find business and takes care of it as usual. Undateables there get around to the board here. Only one apiece here to tie it up and make it 7-7. But Undateables looking good so far for pistol round. Economy, though, will fluctuate a lot between both teams here. These buys are crucial for how the next round will dictate itself and the position you want to put yourself in on the second half of this map. Again, playing those high-risk, high-buy strategies can be rewarding at times, especially for chaining rounds together. But we have seen at times as well where if you lose those guns and lose a wipe, then you are putting yourself in such a hard spot to come back. And even that, and again, you need to make sure your mental economy is just as sweet, making sure those strats and those reads are perfect, and your adjustments and team coordination is also to a high level.
No, I mean, we're speaking of high level, Connie. I think it's safe to say that pretty much everything has been pretty high level from both teams here. Very little in terms of whiff shots, whiff utility, you know, whiffed executes. Basically, everything's been executed and performed basically to flawless, both for the side of taking and retaking. The wall going up. Just to cut off the sight as that plant now goes down. Pola gets one shot and they immediately retrading them. And we see Rudy all the way in this flank, all the way behind. It's actually three of them. Oh my days, didn't realize the monsters were the attacking side. When did this happen? Oh my days. Undateables actually thinking they have the sight down, but they're trapped. They're stuck between both. And how are they going to be able to get out?
Start to get out of as well. George does a spot one. Inspired it though, the trades will come into effect. The custody battle finding two, and Grievous there getting one in return. Now it just comes down to how much you can play off here. Again, that Sage Wall has not dropped for the majority of the post plant though. The monsters again, now down to one as custody battle says no regards. Takes it into his own hands, gets 4 that round, and is going to make it 7-7, and simply magnificent as well. Undateables are now starting to find some form here. Again, the monsters now losing 2 rounds in a row here. As we go into the bonus, it's going to be pretty scattered either way here, but we're seeing a much more committed buy from the monsters. The Vandals and Phantoms will come into effect here, and Undateables though playing a hard eco, which is really interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean, they've got, I mean, yeah, you do say it. I mean, we see the Bulldogs, but yeah, Spectres, Stingers, they really want to be keeping this, they want to be keeping this util, excuse me, this econ very strongly. Okay. We do, yeah, exactly, yeah, sorry about that, stumbling over myself, can't even get the words out. They do want to keep this econ really, really beefy. They do want to get that operator, as you said, Undateables. They do have a habit of relying on that Sean the Sheep op, and that's exactly what they're going to be doing. And hopefully now on the attack, Sean the Sheep's able to get them frags, swing out from Boiler, get a pick on either screens, and now we see Tanko just cutting down that wall, Pola hiding up in pipes, trying to see if there's any going to be any overcommit from them, and if so, immediately shut that down.
Sage was going to break in a second as well. Chromazoni though is just playing off one angle on Belt here, but look at Tanko aggressing so fast. It is a battle of reactions and Tanko wins it. Polo though trades fast, dashes out the way and throws a cloud to make sure that he can't get traded out in the process. Now in terms of it all, needs to clear a lot of angles here, but during the majority of it, Zeev was coming to help support the Frere things. And look at the vibe pushing up here. It's Grievous trying to catch players off guard here and playing the angles perfectly. Going to force some multiple gunfights here potentially, because Archie again needs to read information first as to whether or not Undateables can commit towards B. Haven't had anything just yet because the Viper wall is so far up, it's gonna really stop any, you know, future plans when Undateables committing towards the B side, which is good for the monsters because Grievous can line up players there. 2 now dropping, and Undateables now in a real spot above her here. 2 players left to try and get this round out of the way, and 24 seconds is such a small margin to make any more errors.
Yeah, no, that was absolutely beautifully played from Grievous, tearing apart that right. As you said, the angles just held absolutely beautifully. And now, yeah, both Undateables having to push through mid, but Rudy Boy has that information. The alarm bot's going to go down. Rudy's just going to walk right past it, gun zero down in the back, and take out Sean the Sheep as well. Pick up a double and put the monsters ahead again. This has been some of the most back and forth I've seen. Actually, I say that, last week was very back and forth as well. Both teams really wanting to push each other to their absolute limits, asking every question and answering it right back. Looking at that scoreline very quickly, we do see, you know, Rudy Boy down at 5, but that Killjoy utility has been super, super effective for the monsters. Archie and Sean both down for the Undateables there at the 7 and 10, but 10 assists from Archie. It's rare to see a Viper with so many assists so early on, well, not so early on, but about midway through the game. So very impressive place from Archie.
Look at this as well. I think the majority of teams here, players were playing for AUPS this round because Undateables was so close to getting locked out online. But even at that, the monsters are going to play what looks to be a great spread. But Undateables again here committing to what they know best here. Polar is only toying with information right now. Slubs will keep the majority of Undateables at bay. They know that the Sage is lurking around, but so far the monsters haven't got any ideas to the Undateables' core plays yet. The mid pressure is not there, so you can't really coordinate a pinch, but I respect it regardless because of the lives you could potentially lose based on some really aggressive plays here. Drone will go out there and target has been hit. Tanker there taking Polar off on a real spot above her, and now it's going to be a real play call here. If you're doing Undateables, do you commit towards A or commit fast to B? And the monsters know the plan. In effect, Grieveless Stove is going to be the one person to try and stop that zero there. Will fall into the crosshair. But the molly was going to be thrown, but Tanko takes Grieveless. Oh, that's so huge for Tanko, because now you're forcing a 4v4. Going to throw out the recon dart, and it's going to be almost instantaneous there. As you're seeing all the pressure, and Viper will lock off the majority of the monsters, and in all that all, custody reses zero back into effect. So we're seeing the Killjoy utility come back online.
Undateables with that res back up to 5 versus 4 instead of the 4. As you said, it's absolutely crucial to get that pick, but then to get that res immediately 23 seconds. Undateables have to do something. They have to completely cut up this site. Archie completely cuts up Poland. The Sage Wall is going to go down, protecting custody just enough. Archie actually finding Rudy through the gap in the wall, and now Archie kind of stuck at the back, is going to get out as that dart trigger tags him a lot. The Killjoy util hopefully going to get cleared for Rudy. Doesn't actually seem like it. Rudy now slow walking down. Archie ready on that hold. That slow orb actually. If Rudy pushes through it, he doesn't know. Obviously, Archie with a beautiful shot on the Zeeble. What a catch that was. Slowed and volleyed off. Oh my days, Archie Tanko being his guardian angel as he starts to reload. Custody picking up that Sage death. Goodness idiot.
3 readjustments and 3 clear headshots is all it took there for the round to fall into favor. Now it's 8-8 aside here, but heading into this one right now, we are seeing quite a vast difference here in economy. Undateables again here looking strong here with the majority of credits on their side. The monsters though gonna play an eco. Polar really flirting between the op light shot combination, but I think the team call at this point now is gonna be a save. So you know what, the monsters again at this point need to try and get this eco round converted. Undateables though looking very strong regardless. They have had full control of the second half, at least in terms of maths and economy, but the pressing, we're going to see how it pans out for now.
Yeah, definitely. You're completely correct on that. Undateables call absolutely completely dominating more this side than they were the previous side. The monsters still being able to answer back fairly consistently, but yeah, Undateables just being able to edge them out a fair bit. And the monsters, particularly with this low buy as well, as you said, they do want to be taking this and trying to convert this, but it's so hard. You've got the jet, you're against the jet knives, you've got only a stinger as custody takes down 1, immediately brings it down 4 versus 5. Connie, can they do it?
It's going to be difficult right now. The monsters have got an aggressive. Polar's position hasn't been made away yet until the mouse shot goes out and 1 will be found. But Sean, the Sheep and Tanko trade. And eyes with that up is good enough to get 2 more for Undateables. But the monsters again, well playing the aggressive re-peek there. It didn't quite pan out the way it was going to be. Zeevil now again here will be the first entry here to try and take control of this post plant. Sean, the Sheep they're spraying down with the frenzy. It's just good enough to make sure now 4v1 is in the books here. Can the monsters try and convert 1v4? It's going to be difficult, but Grieveless is one player that you can definitely highlight for that sort of accomplishment. We'll find Tanko there with the Guardian. Still though, Spike is down, needs to be dealt with. Viper's Pit is online, but so is the Molly. The Nano Swarm will try and get Grievous down to low HP there. Only losing about 10 either side, so not all doom and gloom. But at this point now, you can't afford any more mistakes. And the reposition here will be so good from Undateables, because now you're just playing it safe in the backside. But even that, again, the alarm bot will go off. It will now give Grieveless such a hard position here on low HP to get this done, but off the wall, the spray is good enough, and Sean the Sheep converts another kill. Still only 1 though, split between the 2 teams, 9-8 now, and again, from the last round to now, economy was the question, but looking at the way it is right now, Undateables again here, still striving forward, but the monsters now before by back in favor.
Yeah, Undateables finally they've been clawing this back, keeping it so equal. The monster's been answering every question that's been asked of them, but this is the first time now Undateables have been able to take it. They weren't able to convert it in the side of the monsters. They weren't able to convert that, but that Thrifty, they weren't able to get those letters and that voice line quite out on time, but now full buys for everyone. Polo with the obs, Evil and everyone, full guns, full shields, very little money, all that util in the world to play with. Wee bit of a match pause. Unfortunately, DC seems to have come down, but yeah, there we go. Oh no, we still have a bit of a DC. Are we getting a pause or no? Are we going through? Oh no. Bit of a heartbreak maybe.
Could be absolutely calamitous for the side of Undateables, but off that old Chromosome, he gets the first to Sean the Sheep. It's really difficult now. You've got 3 players online here trying to get Spike down towards a site, and only really Zero can be the man of value because you can see so much information that will be given. Zevil misses the Guardian shot though. In response to that, needs to make sure the repick is coming from Zero, so we'll throw out the drone. But off that again, custody battle though, let's find one onto Crobazoni, so they just stage up the picture of the monsters there again. The hills are now down, and so is the Killjoy utilities. Archie finds Rudy Boy. 59 seconds left here, and we're seeing the Vipers pick go out onto A to make sure that it is completely clear. But custody battle, despite being a 4v5 situation here, managed to get Spike down, can play a very comfortable 3v3 post-plant situation here, especially with the Vipers wall now coming online.
I was gonna say, I mean, we got a 3v3. If the Sova comes back, that's a Hunter's Fury online. Undateables maybe feeling so confident they only did 4v5. Zero getting this flank this time. Not going to get shut down like we did see the mid flank last time. Grieveless on basically 0 health. Pola immediately rushing Zero down though, gets the pick, and it is 2 versus 2. Do not be fooled by that Sova on the line at the top. It is 2 versus 2, but the Spike's ticking down. The monsters don't have the time. They have to take this loss. Oh my days! They have to actually just walk away from that. They went down and lost. They were meant to have that. It was a 5 versus 4, and it just completely vaporized from them. How'd that happen, Connie? I don't know about you. I wasn't expecting that.
Oh, it might be good enough. I genuinely think as well, when you're looking at Undateables and the monsters, it just has to be brought into a real fray in question. Majority of Undateables here did win a very nice 4v5, but it goes to show you the level that they have performed at throughout the majority of losers bracket. Again, we go back to the macro side of this and how well the Undateables have looked throughout their losers run. Now coming against the monsters here in losers finals, and we can only preach again how important this matchup is. Winner of this series will meet Swansea Tsunami in the grand finals over at Null Confetti for Amazon University Esports UK and Ireland. And the monsters, though, I think in terms of that round, have no idea the situation with Undateables right now. So I think it's another round of the books, and they're going to go one round at a time and try and regain some form of composure. Because again, Economy has taken a dent that bonus round and converting the eco from the first 2 rounds of the second half, and Undateables have got a real cushion here to sit on.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself, to be honest, Connie. They do. The cushion's exactly the word for it. They don't need to, you know, they can take this a bit slower now into monsters, particularly because of the fact that it's, you know, some of it's a bit clutch. Polar really trying to come out with that op, really trying to make something work, but the rest of the team, Grieveless coming on with a Phantom Man light shields, but then Sheriff light shields from Zevil and Chromazone, and a Stinger from Rudy. Stingers can definitely do something terrifying, but they'll really have to make this work now because there's only one ult each side, and it's Hunter's Fury versus a Res. If you want one counter ultimate, I think Hunter's Fury counters most ultimates in this game.
Yeah, but we've seen really Zevil converting the majority of the bloodshed on the Hunter's Fury. I mean, the majority of Tanko's plays on Hunter's Fury has been just solely locking off lanes, making sure that we're not seeing some random pushes from the monsters. Whereas, you know, Zevil's actually converting kills off of the initial information from the recon drone and the recon dart. Has been enough, though, especially in these post plants, where we have seen Tanko kind of outshine a little bit. And that's purely based on how you play the agent itself. And now heading into the majority of the latter of this, and Data was now only 3 rounds away from converting this map 1, and it's just, you know, going to be very difficult for the monsters at this point potentially to come back. We have seen it before though, again in winners bracket where they were facing not the best. It was a reverse sweep there. 2-1 comeback on the cards. Might happen again here, James.
Oh, do we get to witness this time together,
Who
Connie?
knows?
Absolutely. Into the fray we go. And very quickly, actually, just pointing out as well, because you did mention, you know, Undateable's only 3 rounds away from sealing this. This map's DMU's pick. DMU really want to try and get this, because if they lose this, not only have they lost a 4 versus 5, or a 5 versus 4 to them on their map pick, but they then go into Ascent, Undateable's map pick. And I mean, if you're picking Ascent, you're pretty confident. I think probably the most played to death map since this game has come out. And speaking of death, Pola immediately welcomes Custody into the afterlife with a gorgeous shot, immediately putting Demonsters on the board.
This is such an aggressive setup here from Demonsters. Almost copies Loud's plays on this Icebox map. And again, I hate to give accent to Tier 1 Valorant because these tiers do differ, but this setup here does show you the higher level of organization and trust in the side of Demonsters. Again, we're seeing a conversion there. Sage now out the picture. But off of that as well, and Undateables have got so much really to work with here. Again, the Hunter's Fury, like you said, is a huge beneficiary coming in because you can work so many adjustments and repositions off of that, let alone finding some frags for yourself. Rudy Boy, though, Spider, oh, and he put a turret down, has the alarm bot and Nana swarming, 2 players to his left. Now the conversion here in 45 can be quite crucial here. That dart will get shot up, so Grieveless will find another position to take care of Tanko. But Shaun the Sheep, off of their positioning there, was not a clear read from the Indatables in mid. So now there's a huge pinch factor coming in, and it's going to be really difficult for the side of the Monsters here to retake again off of the classic setup of the Viper Wall.
Yeah, Rudy had a great positioning in that tube, but I think played it a little bit too passively, gave up too much space, and gave up too much space, and Undatables really took that to absolutely heart. Archie, though, just getting found out. Rudy Boy immediately gets the kill at the very least. The lockdown going down. Very difficult for the Undatables unless they pick up all the kills on DMU before it ends. Zero finds Evil. Sean finds both! And the lockdown isn't even gonna matter as Undatables take us to 11-8.
Now, at this point, Navi the Monsters, you are shaking a little bit. You are concerned, but the right call is coming in here, timeout. So, to recap briefly what we have seen in the last 19 rounds, it's been very interesting, James. The Monsters, again, were coming back from the initial first round and claiming a 7-5 lead going into the second half. And Datables, though, have chained together the pistol round, eco, and bonus to have a strong economy heading into the latter. Although the Monsters did get some constellation eco rounds in the books, and Datables still have maintained a lot of control here. So what could we see potentially reposition and readjust in the tactics for this team?
I mean, to be honest, I'm gonna come out and say it. The Monsters genuinely, they have the angles, they have the control, they just don't have the aggression anymore. It was very close to being, you know, the Monsters just completely cleaning up there. The Stinger and Tube keeping everything absolutely under control, but then there was no comms. There was no understanding that they were let through underneath Tube. I mean, the Monsters seemed almost shocked when 2 of Undatables walked through and had that mid control. They had someone telling them the footsteps. They had someone telling them every single step that Undatables were taking, but it just wasn't enough. And now this timeout, wonder what has been discussed. Timeout from the Monsters, I actually didn't even realize, or didn't even point it out to you guys. So yeah, the Monsters are, as Connie said very accurately, trying to take a breather, trying to understand what they're doing wrong, trying to get them, maybe even just discuss that reposition, as Connie said.
It is going to be quite difficult, especially for Undatables and the Monsters on both sides right now, because if you're on the side of Undatables, you're figuring out what the Monsters are saying, right? And the Monsters now are going to coordinate what looks to be similar up to the last round. I really have the confidence that, like you said, when you mentioned how effective the positioning was, just can't find the aggression in time. I think maybe replicating that same strategy again here, but paying more attention to the aggression that we see Undatables commit through mid, especially with the power they have in their initiators and duelists, has to be coming into the real fray here. Right now, of course, there'll be a lot of Viper utility in terms of the Cloud and the Wall, but even that, Grievous there finds a spray into Archer. Shaun the Sheep, though, in Constellation, takes care of Grievous now 1-1, but Snowman pressure is still available, and even off that, though, Sparky planted now, and the res for Custody, who has been so effective to even get this alive, but both stages right now bringing more players into the mix here. We're seeing 12 lives between these two teams being thrown around.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Connie. I mean, we've seen that as 2 Viper. Viper swings, immediately dies. Viper goes down in the enemy team. Sage swings, immediately reses. Viper comes up in the enemy team. Absolutely mirror image of each other. And Tango now, yeah, the Hunter's Fury keeping that control. Swing from Yellow is going to be good. Actually, Evil and Pola pick up 2. The turret, though, that turret from Zero wanting to be in the kill feed. Picks up Pola and brings Undatables to match point with a lockdown and jet knives, with the Monsters only good for the Hunter's Fury.
And the eco as well looking really dire. I mean, the Monsters can swing huge momentum here if they do win this round and convert the eco. But the same as we say on Icebox, comeback potential is monstrous on this map, alright? Let's just really exaggerate how incredible we've seen the comebacks in recent months on this map from all sorts of tiers in Valorant, but especially now, the Monsters need to pull it out of the bag here if they want to go 1-0 up and have the comfort of only one map away from locking in your ticket to Amazon University Esports Finals up in Nottingham.
Team, they know exactly what it's this to play for, and Pola immediately trying to get those shots. They know it's what to play for. Grieveless coming through, getting that little pick under Custody, doesn't do too much damage, unfortunately, for Grieveless. There we go, the lockdown, Hunter's Fury, both down. Zeevil, yeah, trying to clear that out, but it's a fake. There's not a single one of the Undatables there. They're already all the way over in mid or B. Shaun the Sheep and Rudy picking up 1 each, immediately taking out the remaining ultimate left for this side. It is just going to come down to guns. It is just going to come down to positioning, unfortunately, for DMU. Their guns are just a bit lacking. Their positioning, though, they might be able to make this work.
55 seconds left there between a huge conversion here for the side of Undatables. The Monsters, though, again, are playing off the Viper's wall. So, what is positive here again, despite the readjustment and the information off of that dart, Polar can play a great wall-to-wall here. Archie swings first, he will get dropped, but Tanko off of that finds the re-swing. Sage will goes down again here, but needs to pick up the original lane that we saw the Saver push through. Tanko again just lurking around here for a huge 1v1 coming up right now against the Sage with the monsters. Custody battle gets the plant down, Zeevil will spray through the wall and break it momentarily. But Tanko right now has got no utility to support the Sage. So at this point now, we're relying quite heavily off of a lineup here from Zero, which is huge. Nano Swarm now going down onto the spike. And the monsters are going to look pretty difficult to retake, but off that though, Jerome will go through.
Yeah, I mean, very gutsy from Custody to stick that plant, and they do it so well. Custody swings, Rudy takes out one, Zeevil actually pushing Zero, and now it's just Tanko. Tanko has to do this 2 versus 1. It looks so comfortable for the monsters. They both swing off, and Zeevil's actually able to do it. Rudy Boy has time. 12-9. It's a very uphill struggle for the monsters, but as you said, demonstrous comeback potential. Very possible, Connie.
Oh, these guys have been putting some pretty much chokehold positions before. I mean, metaphorically speaking, right, these guys have come from the brink of death in winners to get through onto winners semi-finals. And when you really sort of exaggerate what they can do in Valorant, it is almost clutch potential. But the one issue when it comes to clutching up so much and so frequently is that your ice bucket runs out. And it's really difficult to regain, you know, anything after that in terms of clutch potential, and you will start to really struggle in terms of maintaining your progression on a linear level heading forward in the rounds. But the monsters again here still clear up from the tank to get it done. And Undateables right now are going to swing forward on to be fast, but looking at this right now, Sean GP with the knives and the smokes can cause a huge issue with the monsters if he can execute a play here effectively onto yellow.
Yeah, speaking of yellow, actually, it's a great point out, because we have seen Undateables really take this yellow control. Grieveless, though, actually really keeping it. The Molly's going to be good. Yeah, Pole is able to do that. Sean's able to get Grieveless, but Pole is able to take that Molly enough and get 2 back. Dash out, doesn't need anything more. They do not want that refrag for the side of Undateables. 3 versus 3, and now opposing Bladestorm for the monsters ready to come through. Viper Wall goes up. This yellow control is so pivotal for the Undateables.
3v4 now. The monsters do have man advantage. Will be trying to swing fast, and Dateables though do find a clear 2. Custody battle takes care of Rudy and Polar. Killjoy and Jet out the equation, solely relying now off of information players. But the monsters again have got 2 clutch factors in here, especially with Zeevil, especially with Chromazoni. But look at it right now. Zeevil there will swing on to Tanko. Now it's going to be a huge one. 2v3, even though an instant rares will take care of business. Nano Swarm and Sage will drop it down, but Archie finds one. The second swing. Zeevil just clinches it in time. Has a drones player as well. Can throw it out, but the Swarm and Nano Swarm in general will cancel out any noise, so Zeevil can play through positioning here. Will tap the bomb. Custody battle playing great discipline and gets the swing. The Undateables go 1-0 up heading into the rest of the series, and only a map away from clinching their ticket to the Amazon University Esports Finals. My goodness, James. Absolute scenes.
Yeah, what a scene is right, Connie. And having a quick look at that map, I mean, we see Tanko, we see Custody up at the top of that scoreboard. Absolutely deadly positions, deadly plays from them. Very well played from both teams. And I mean, yeah, so much to talk about. The ult usage from both teams is absolutely extraordinary. Literally, only thing I could say, Archie holding on to that Viper's Pit for maybe a bit too long, because you can get 2 instead of just 1, but didn't matter. Archie still takes the game, so I doubt he cares how the Viper Pit was used. Connie, what do you think?
I think in general it really was a battle of your Sentinel players and your initiators. I can genuinely speak for days about the effectiveness of both Sages and both Sovers in this map, even the Killjoys as well, but majority of plays were res, so even off the chance where you did see Zeevil or Chromazoni, you know, play effective, Chromazoni was always resing the Killjoy if possible to make sure that utility was online, and when it does come back online, it can reevaluate and reassess where the re-hit was coming from, which was so crucial for a lot of their defense positioning and retakes. But I think in general, it's a huge testament to Undateables, who in this bracket, by the way, have been in losers for a lot longer than the Monster. Have only had 1 lifeline thrown towards them and have punched their way through into the finals of losers. So you really can't underestimate this team. But we do elaborate again on the Monster's comeback potential. This team, James, have done a madness in the last time I watched them, and we do think as well that this can't go unnoticed.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, TMU have seen, I mean, I've watched them pull themselves from the brink. The absolute comeback potential we've seen. Maybe the ice bucket, though, as you said, Undateables have, been down here a fair bit longer, but they've managed to tear their way up all the way through. Ran up. maybe the monsters have ran through their luck, through their ice bucket. But it looks like we are going to be taking a bit of an extended break just while the players get very comfortable. But when we return, 1-0 on Datables, and it's going into their map pick on Ascent, and we can't wait to see you there. So until then.
Transcend humanity with Omen.
What is that?
It's cutting edge VR, Flynn.
It looks like it's something from the future, you know?
Flynn took a trip to future London, saw something she wasn't supposed to. Now people from there are trying to kill us.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Amazon University Esports, brought to you by Open, Prime Student and Prime Video. Make sure to check out some amazing films and series such as The Peripheral. You can watch it over at amazon.co.uk/prime/video. Now, James, instant reactions there from that amazing icebox.
Oh yeah, no, so Jay, for anyone that just missed it there, we just had DMU versus Undateables. Undateables taking Icebox 13-7. DMU's pick as well. So now that we've kind of seen that go down pretty close to start off with, and then Undateables really started kind of looking a bit more comfortable on the defense side or on the attack side, and really started to open it up. And now we move on to Undateables' pick being Ascent. So the Monsters really having to work, do an uphill battle now to get all the way to the Newell Grand Finals in Confetti and get their ticket punched.
That really is what all 10 of these players are competing for today in Losers Finals. Again, different journeys for both sides here, and Dateables did in fact go through Losers early on, and we see it there as well. In Losers Round 2, beating Not The Best and the Kiel Vandals to punch their ticket to here. But again, it was very much a different story for the Monsters, who beat Not The Best, and even off of it all, beat Go Nexa. I think the score's a bit wrong there in the start, but regardless, the Monsters did in fact beat the reigning champions of this tournament, and even faced Swansea Tsunami, who unfortunately took them down 2-1. They're going to be in the grand finals right now. Their tickets are already secure. These two teams are fighting for their second spot.
Yeah, the Monsters really want to fight back. They want to take this back to Swansea Tsunami. They want to show them what they've learned. They want to show them exactly, because it wasn't a 2-0 for Swansea. It was 2-1, so the Monsters at least keeping them on their toes slightly. So the Monsters wanted everything to prove on that back, even just getting that victory, but not even just for the trophy, to get their own back. To get their own back on the people that put them down.
I think it's incredible as well, because NTU won map 1 wasn't even their pick. So that's almost instantaneously a huge factor coming into the next map, which, again, James, you're going to tell us now exactly what is next up on the series.
Oh, yeah, it's looking very beautiful. So, Ascent, Undateables have picked it, which, as I said before, the Monsters now slightly uphill battle for them. They picked Icebox and lost. Now going into Undateables' pick, it will be just making sure. Yeah, DMU have picked Attack, and picking Attack on Ascent, very kind of scary, because if your executes aren't there, I mean, Ascent for me personally, I find it one of the most even-sided matches, and it comes down to just pure performance, pure executes, pure skill.
I think the average as well for this map is 8-4 in defensive side for the first round. So, again, it's the only map in the pool which is, because Ascent has been so well renowned for the majority of Valorant's, timeline and game life, you're going to be seeing, the usual comp picks and even some interesting plays throughout the map. Because, again, it's one of the maps that almost locks you in instantly to flow state. You feel like the duelists really can thrive off the rip, given the right circumstances, though, of course, and given how the rounds pan out in the beginning. But there's so many different ways that you can play this map. It's just impressive to even talk about.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't really put it better myself. I think the map is genuinely, the reason it is so well renowned is because it's so free flowing. It's so, malleable. You can do so many things and make it work if you have that confidence, if you have that understanding. You don't even need to see a single Killjoy. I've started seeing actually a bunch of really cool plays with the Killjoy versus Killjoy as we jump into the map and Agent Select now. Brilliant stuff. Map and Agent Select, sorry, just the Agent Select. Getting ahead of myself, we've already done all that, and here we go. The pick's already down to Monsters very comfortably. Basically, insta picks as Undateables following slightly behind.
So far, we're seeing quite a lot of interesting stuff already. I mean, the Monsters are going for a pretty standard pick here. The Omen and KO, very much staples on Ascent, alongside a Sova 2 and a Killjoy. Jet, again, it can be switched out potentially for any other. Maybe you could see a Neon play, but Jet, for the most part, has been so overpowered for so long, despite the original nerf back in like Act 1 or Act 2. But now we're seeing the Dateables picks, and Zero and Cypher, really interesting to see, because Cypher, I feel like, isn't really picked frequently throughout comp.
Yeah, no, Cypher, I think, Cypher does a lot of good, but yeah, I completely agree. You don't see him a lot, really, just because either he gets a bit phased out or someone else does his role slightly better. But if you have a good Cypher, as anyone that has played ladder, anyone that has played against a decent Cypher, that is nightmare-inducing. There is nothing more frustrating than trying to get a really good push, being caught in an archway or caught in a choke point, gunned down before you've even seen the site, and it happens so frequently against a good Cypher, and we have to see Zero giving up the Killjoy for it. Is it going to be enough?
Maybe, but regardless of that, we are going to be seeing Undateables on defense, the Monsters on attack, and one thing to note as well, the Monsters, I think, are coming into this with their backs against the wall. They are 1-0 down, only a map away from losing the series and finishing top 3 in the University Amazon Esports split for spring. You have to kind of point out, though, as well, especially with this knowledge and going forward on their skill set, maybe Polar and Zeevil can shine, because we're not seeing Zeevil primarily on a Sova now, we're seeing the Omen.
Yeah, we're seeing him in the Omen, and instead of the Omen into Astra, and there we go, look at how that, I just mentioned it, Zero immediately coming through, Sean backing out as soon as that pick goes on to Pola, and I want to very quickly say, Zeevil, I want to see some gorgeous Omens for my frequent co-caster Bigfoot, who loves some Omen plays, and I want to see something to make him put a smile on his face, but here we go, yeah, an immediate push from the Monsters, they lose the Jet on it, but they at least do get the spike push, Breveless stuck in the corner, gets taken down by Tanko, and now it is, yeah, just one by one, the Monsters fall as Undateables collapse onto this site, and it's looking like very comfortably a 4-man hold for Undateables.
Oh, indeed. The Monsters, they can't get it done, and Undateables convert the first round in quick time, but like they did from the Monsters regardless, they were trying to hit A fast. It solely came down to the first pick that we saw there again. Despite site being taken almost instantly by the Monsters, the Undateables had the position there on Heaven, and even through Garden, to get the repositions and the angles required for a perfect X hold, and then the players would get eliminated on the side of the Monsters. Now, heading into the second round here, Undateables are going to go for high risk, high reward here. Hard eco from the Monsters, I'm seeing any Frenzies and Classics in the picture, but Spectres and Bulldogs will be on the menu for Undateables heading into the next round.
Yeah, they do want to be taking this. They want to take Undateables exactly what you want to do. You want to get this round. It's so close to guaranteed that you should be buying up as much as you can. Custody with the Bulldog. We see actually a Ghost from, so not an entire buy up from the side of the Undateables, but yeah, very much the Monsters just ready to go in with just Frenzies and nothing else, and we see a very slow push on that catwalk, but 3 people as Zero gets a read, maybe a bad feeling, and yeah, gonna get found out. Rudy gets the knife through, 3 detected, including the Astra, which absolutely shuts down the stars as this push goes through.
Okay, 30 seconds left here, and Crimson will stick to Spike straight away here. But looking at the trades right now, you want a piece right now, and the Monsters themselves are starting to dwindle down here as Zero and Custody pick up more. Tank of the last, and that was almost a blink and miss at your round kind of thing. I think, especially with the Monsters positioning there, we are seeing lots of the X's float around Garden and Heaven. So originally of the previous round, where we did see the retakes come from these positions, and Undateables convert again. They are very comfortable on either or of the A takes, whether they're playing a really bunker-like setup, trying to force their way in, or just playing a really slow collapse, just kind of, you know, shrouding the majority of the Monsters in these situations.
Yeah, definitely. They do seem to just have that bit more comfort, bit more kind of control currently, and I think a lot of it's going to start coming down to once these ultimates start coming online. We already see Sean already up at 5 out of 7, Tanko 5 out of 8, Custody kind of lower down, the rest of them 3s and 2s across the board. Archie, unfortunately for him, 3 assists, just kind of vibing down there, doesn't need to do much, and to be fair, the Astra Stars can be hell on earth, and Rudy's going to be needing to get some value from these KO knives to shut out that Cypher from the side of the Undateables.
Even though, look at the utility as well that we are seeing here from the Monsters. They kind of want to coax Undateables into a really aggressive push out of their own spawns. I mean, A and B right now will be held down almost continuously. I mean, the Cypher, like we said, we talked about at the pre-game, can be, you know, good or bad. But right now, the A setup there can single-handedly hold down any sort of push for the most part if the Monsters decide to commit. But Spark again here is just still flirting in spawn. You can, even that gives the Evil the idea to use the Omen aggressively. But right now, the Monsters want to flood through mid fast. The smokes there will, of course, favor that. As Custody Battle now forces spray down through the wall on low HP. It will give enough though. The Nano Swarm there connects to nobody.
Yeah, exactly. And good point mentioned about that low HP. No heals from either side. Any damage is permanent, which doesn't sound like a lot whenever you take 9 damage from a shot, you know, through 3 walls. But as it goes through, yeah, Chromazone, a very good playing off that alarm bot as well. Immediately takes out Archie. Sean with the op on mid takes out Rudy. And it is going to come down to just the timing here. Tanko trying to get that spray. Won't get found out through the smoke because of the silencer on the Spectre. Zero being found out by Graveless. Absolutely shot down as the spike goes down. It's Undateables having to do a retake.
This is such hard positioning to clear as well. I mean, right now you've got the Killjoy Omen fenced up there in the back. Smoke will go out as well to clear all sorts of pressure here from Market and from the spawn. But Sean and Sheep again here, just playing around with the op, and really common now at this point for Sean's brand to actually buy an op this early on. But again, even that does in fact play around with it pretty well. I mean, last time we saw it 3 and 7 off the first half, and even though the op was brought into the picture, it was kind of 50-50 for both sides here to even play around it. But at this point now, owning this weapon, can't force a 1v4, will opt to save now. It's a very smart decision here from Databalls, and even off that bonus round now, likely will be converted towards the monster side.
Quite a bit of a read here though. Graveless seems to know, and he does have a good correct read on where Sean the Sheep is. Now if he slow walks into that op, no, it looks like Sean gonna stay very tugged, very smart. Yeah, Graveless knew. Graveless knew where Sean was, and Sean very intelligently just sticks in the corner, does not want to give up that op, joins the rest of his team in a full buy as we go full buy for pretty much full buy. Rudy, unfortunately, actually no, Graveless will probably be able to get him a buy, so yeah, full buy versus full buy.
And even that as well, I want to highlight to you, Madden, we didn't see Sean's effectiveness off the rip in the last map, but this map currently at 5 and 1. Only highlights my point at the very start for his set. The duelists and the initiation can really fry and thrive on this map if need be. But even there, and again, a Paranoia and Smoke will cancel out Sean's initial push there again. Astro Star goes down, tries to stop the push, but I think right now, Datables know that B is going to be a hard hit. Drone will get shot down, so the Sova's out of the picture for the most part in terms of getting information. And right now, it's going to be a huge reconverge right now. Rendezvous for the monsters as they go back to spawn to wrap onto the spike, and they could try and take A again, but off that, Databalls have committed to the same Cypher setup every time on A. Only thing that's picked up right now is Garden, and for the most part, off the camera, regardless, you kind of have to initiate something special here again. Hopefully, we're going to be seeing Z-Evil hold a smoke and try and break through, but Zero can just hold this camera and play with so much.
Yeah, we're seeing that lineup, the Cypher cages. I mean, once this is where it comes through. If Cypher is as ratty as this, and I mean that in the nicest way possible, then he can get some serious good value. Sean, though, immediately getting Swan Zero, good for Grieveless. Hota's going to swing it, Pull is going to swing it in the reload and get one. Custody's good for Chromazoni, but that spike is probably going to go down once they can get to it. Actually, never mind. Looks like KO just ready, yeah, just sitting on the edge of that smoke. Zeevils is going to get that spike down. The flash comes through, they know where Custody is, they know where two of them are. And the Astra all the way over in tree. Rudy's going to find him. Yeah, Archie actually finds him first. Custody picks up the evil, and the spike doesn't even go down.
3-1 as well, and Databalls are extending what looks to be a gradual lead here. I do think as well, when you flicker onto the economy, the monsters now going for full buys, really being very interesting there. Flirting with the Odin, but going for a Vandal instead. I mean, listen, as well on the attack inside, there's only really 2 plays that you can do off the rip here for sort of a 2-dimensional access point into either side, and that is spamming through the really thin walls that Ascent do hold. But arguably now, we kind of understand really how Databalls want to hold this. They can single-handedly allow Zero to just play Cypher on A, and then funnel down the pressure regardless through mid and B, depending on how the monsters interpret this initial hit here onto the Cypher site.
Yeah, exactly. It's they are happy just to let Zero do this because it doesn't matter what you do. These setups are changing. I mean, as you said, they're playing exactly basically the same way. Cypher cage being changed though, rather than being on top of the light, which is a really disgusting setup that I've never seen before. Just going to sit in the arch there and actually play off Archie, which I think is really good and a really deliberate play from the Undatables to realize that, you know, Archie can just sit in that corner, play off the cyber cage, might as well just put it in the choke point. Zero getting all this information, finally spotted out as the push starts.
Archie again here going to be great with a cloud and a cage, but will regress fast straight away. So we Star 2 are thinking of actually use the grab to keep these players at bay, and this is so clever from Databalls. You can now force all these players onto the choke point off of that grab and get a free clear, which they do. Now forcing Grieveless and Asova in such low HP positioning here, they can't reposition in time. You're too scared to commit forward, even off of the nano and the molly that comes through behind the Astral Cloud. And Polar is just so boxed in, he can't really coordinate a play despite having knives in hand.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're looking at this right now. Like, he does have knives in hand, completely correct, but no health. He is going to try and get something, but yeah, it's 5 versus 2. It really is a Hail Mary and a half for them. Custody getting that flash ready. The star's going to come down from Archie. It's 15 seconds. The spike down on site. Tango picks up Grieveless, and it looks like, yeah, we are just going to see the Jet and Pola try and reposition, try and get a pick onto Archie, onto anyone, but yeah, no, they're happy to give Pola that Vandal and just leave.
Undateables do in fact convert another 4-1 now as the timer expires, and Spike was barely even left on site. Now it's going to be another round in the books here for Undateables as we extend it. We are going to see Tanko and Sheep have ults available. Did in fact see the majority of it save. Polo though after that did put up the knives as a last ditch effort, but you have to argue it now. Could have been used this round for some more coordinated plays, as only the rest of the monsters are only a few orbs away from their ultimates themselves here, James.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's well spotted, Connie, because while they don't have much in the way of firepower, it is just Sheriff's one Vandal from Pola, which actually might be a bit of a misplay. You don't want that utility split too hard. You don't want one person always lagging behind in terms of that economy, so hopefully nothing too major for the side of the monsters. But Undateables, yeah, I mean, Sean just ready with the ops, getting smoked out and immediately backing out, but they've so much space to work with here. They really do. Like, the Cyphers we've seen play, keeps control of A basically entirely, but actually able to take control of B while lurking on A.
Right now, needs 73 seconds left on the clock here. Tanko now can just hold down well, because the Cypher Steps now are coming on towards the B site, but looking at this push right now, I think the monsters really want to kind of figure out the pressure on either side before committing fully. But Polar there finds the first into custody battle. That's absolutely huge market pressure out the equation, and there an omen smoke will look to cover Polar as he exits now forward onto market. But Tanko going to throw a recon dart almost instantaneously, will tag up Polar inside of market. Now this Swarm though will cancel out any sort of hit they can effectively get through, and we'll refrag there again. Despite that, shock dart will come through, and Sean the Sheep finds a wonderful pick onto Chromazoni, making sure the killjoy abilities are offline. 35 seconds left here, and now we're seeing a push here between the Omen and the KO, as we're going to be seeing Z Evil and Rudy and Grievous all commit towards site here. Despite all this clutter, the resmokes there kept Undateables at bay, and a plant can come down to full effect. This is so clever from the monsters.
Yeah, it really is. Playing around the Cypher trips as well. Zero, though, not playing around the Cypher himself. Pola going down to him. Gets tagged as well by the Silver Dart, trying to get a shot through. The Paranoia comes through. It is probably going to pick up some value. Doesn't actually really thought that was going to be a pick from Evil, but it's not. Zero swings down. Rudy Boy picks up Zero. Sean picks up one. Tango picks up Rudy. And Grieveless, though, even though it's a post-plant situation, trapped and boxed in and gunned down, bringing to Undateables to 5-1.
It's very impressive regardless. Now 5-1 for Undateables, but we do note again, defender side is the much more favourable one on this map. The monsters, of course, have combat potential in their back pocket, as we have seen them in dire straits before. But Undateables right now are looking so strong at start. Again, I do have a real inkling, being in losers for so long, they have dealt with the pressure of only being one series away from being knocked out of the tournament. They have very much handled it well. But even that, they've just adapted to the majority of Undateables setups here again. It really is just sort of like fighting fire with ice here. These two teams are so different in the way they play. Yeah, and Undateables are just edging it ever so slightly. As Sean the Sheep now 7-2, Tango 7-1. They're keeping a nice economy in the books here and an op in play.
Yeah, and they all in play. I mean, that's just mid-control coming through Chromazoni. Oh, that elbow very nearly being taken off. Sean, though, very... Yeah, exactly. You never know. You do need to swing these. You do need to get these peaks so perfectly because, I mean, an elbow's enough for Sean to get a pick and absolutely open up this site. Yeah, the Silver Dart's going to come through. Got an absolute bang on my door. Apologies for all my days. Speaking of banging down, Sean just takes down Pola through the smoke. An absolutely beautiful shot, and will open this round up for Undateables to maybe go 6-1.
Look at Undateables positioning here, though, through mid and through A. They're getting so aggressive through guard and then through market that you're allowing picks to be found. Archie, they're taking care of Grieveless, initiating a 5v3. A minute left on the clock here, and Spike is still floating around spawns. The monsters at this point are going to make a huge play call here. They need to get this through, but regardless of it all, I think we have to play around Z Evil, who does find a pick onto Sean. That eliminates at least pressure through market, but Heaven's still in picture. Paranoia goes out, and Archie dodges it in time. Promozoni and Rudy Boy don't find more in defeat, and now Undateables are whittled down to just two players. Rudy Boy, Everegg, and Molotov up top, and Chromazoni, they're playing around the plant site. Archie can swing here fast, finds one, but Z Evil takes it down, as now Rudy is left and needs to be revived. We're now seeing Z Evil planted down straight away. 0 left in a 1v3. It's not good enough as Z Evil takes care of free that round and gets the monsters back on the board.
Most importantly, saving Rudy, making sure that kill is not added to the kill feed. There will be no bragging rights for you today, as he's brought right back up to his feet. Yeah, really incredible play. I mean, I was not expecting the monsters to be able to take that back. I mean, that looked like to be all in Undateables' hands. The Evil was about to go into Zero Spiderweb with the two Cypher traps, but teleports right through them, creates just enough space. The monsters then following it up and absolutely tearing through the space. Doesn't even need to use the lockdown or the Silver Dart, or the Sova ult, and now they've got both of them in for this round.
Right now, again, utility off the rip here. Grieveless just about playing around what looks to be a clear one-way smoke. Now we are going to be understanding truly what Undateables are trying to do here again. Cypher has pushed out aggressive here alongside the Jet, just making sure information's clear. But at this point as well, you would really use a recon. And majority we are seeing here on Undateables, they are positioning the recons towards A, whereas B could be a clear take. Polar, though, of course, throwing a smoke instantaneously off to block off any pressure here from Tanko, and the sprays will go down. Dash, though, will not be utilized in all that time because, again, there is no real logical reason behind it. Swing goes through, and Polar, of course, get information, does return fire, and no shot connected. Custody battle of the flash out here will go through, and Shaun the Sheep takes care of Polar as the smoke drops down. Then there comes the drone in, and Shaun the Sheep now has to position here and play around so many smoke plays here. Has to isolate the fights almost instantaneously, but with so little time left, Z-Evil can swing through off of the audio cue. But look at Shaun, he's seeing 2 barrels to his face, and Grieveless finds the kill. Chrome is only now forced to rotate through mid, and Undateables now are going to spam the Hunter's Fury to keep things in play. Rudy just got the plant down in time. Grieveless now going to recon out, and here comes the suppression that you were looking for. Rudy Boy gets taken down, but Archie finds 1, finds 2. Will he get the third on Z-Evil? He's only in the back right now, being fenced off by 2 barrels, and Chromazoni, Z-Evil, they find some trades in turn for it all. Chromazoni, time the pinch perfectly, gets it in the books here. We're seeing a collapse here. The Monsters getting back some form of momentum. 5-3 now on the cards, and in the books for that round.
What an absolute, that is too right. I mean, you've mentioned it before, Connie. You've said the comeback potential on these Monsters, and that was surely monstrous every single time. Once again, Z-Evil starting to find his feet, starting to find his comfort, starting to find that comfort zone, being able to teleport and get all that space kind of control. Wasn't caught out by Shaun the Sheep's knives, didn't even get caught out when Shaun the Sheep really tried to do some disgusting play around the boxes in the site, and gets to both barrels, as you said, completely stumped out his face. Shaun trying to play an aggressive push, gets spotted by the drone, still ready to hold it though. That jet dash does last an absurd amount of time. Zero gets some information, no bullets tagged though, as we just wait for the timer to tick down.
As it is right now, the Monsters can play around 2 clear entries here, but Zero going for a very classic Cypher setup right now, making sure that Garden and the front arch taken care of. Tankido again here, almost becoming one-dimensional with the same setup over and over again. Does opt to play around the information on B, but even playing Jiggle Peaks, has a drone to use and Shock Dart. So at this point here, do you really want to play the call of keeping the majority of the Monsters suppressed? Because the way the spike is panning out, again, it will be a huge B hit coming in here. And the mid-pressure as well that the Monsters can execute. Zero's trying to bait off plays coming in, but it's almost a small shift coming in here. Maybe a sports swing might help out, but again, market is so exposed right now. We are seeing some rotations here fast. Tanko does spot information there. Grieveless and Polar are in fact going to try and trade out more information on the call. Swing comes in here, but Polar and Custody trade out 1 apiece here, making a 4v4. 33 seconds left here. Custody swings again, finds another, but Chromazoni trades it out again as door collapses onto market. Now with 27 left, it's more trades. Zero there, headshotting Polar into the ground, and now a 3v2 situation.
Both Lockdown and Omen, although the TP's coming through the Astro Wall as well. There's a lot of ultimates that could go down here. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. It's down to the Monsters. Whether they think they've got it, the Killjoy was going to go down. That is going to buy precious seconds. But afterwards, as soon as that explodes, as soon as that ticks down, we are going to be seeing, yeah, the push comes through. The Nano Swarm going through on Sidewalk, at least to stop it, and the Astro Wall coming through, cutting off the spike just barely. Z-Evil having to try and rope through. Chromazoni good for Zero, and there is Shaun the Sheep and Sidewalk. Z-Evil just trying to get the spray, can't get the shots, gets 1, has to pull out the classic, and unfortunately for Z-Evil, Archie drops down, and Archie has the time to bring us to 6-3 Undateables.
And what a play from Archie as well. Even in the face of his teammates falling down, does find the last kill there and just gets it done. 6-3 now. So the Monsters and Undateables are going to be edging a 3-point difference in rounds. But look right now at the scoreboard here, James. So much information to take away, but 3 points I can take away. The ultimates are going to be in the Monsters' favor. Very much a split buy here, but mainly edging out for Undateables. Even there, heading into the latter rounds, it's still a clear-cut lead for the Monsters and Economy.
Yeah, exactly, and I mean, it's going to come down to this. It's very much whoever wins this round is probably going to take a commanding lead into this half. The Monsters only 3 rounds behind. They take this, it's likely they'll go into a 6-5, maybe even a 6-6, and Undateables take this, who knows, maybe that 8-4 that you were telling us about. But Shaun immediately with the aggression, Tanko immediately picks up Bola as well. Wow, I'm getting absolute flashbacks to the last time I was in Nottingham from that push. What an absolute dash. Confidence play from Shaun immediately opens up the round. There's still 2 ults for the side of the Monsters, but yeah, this is going to be tough.
70 seconds left. Tango now just spraying through the smoke, can't get much out of here. Paranoia goes in onto Mark, cuts him out of action for now, even off of the open smoke that really clears. Now Sean the Sheep goes on aggressive forward, gets taken down, but so does Chromazoni in all of that chaos. Now 1v4, it's going to be solely down to Grieveless right now. With the Bulldog, does get some taps clear though, nothing really connects, and custody battle off the recenter. Peek's advantage does in fact come in favor. Going to be Undateables having just the sheer edge here off the defense in the first few, and even better than that, the Monsters are executing some great attacks onto the sites. They're getting the plants. It's just really lacking in the post-plant setups right now. They just can't seem to find the confidence to really command positioning here, James.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right, Connie. And part of that is just because, I mean, for that round in particular, I mean, the jet dash through mid to immediately take out Rudy.
That's a good factor as well.
Yeah, no, that's your KO. That's your man that's meant to stop the util from coming down on you, from bearing down on you as you get that post-plant situation. And the man's down before he can do any of it. 9 assists, he is definitely cutting off some utility, but it's never been enough. The Monsters are just unfortunately not able to capitalize off of it, and Undateables are just able to consistently get that value, get those trades, get those frags, even if they don't have the util.
Going to be very soft the rip here right now. The Monsters are kind of playing around with information off the rip here. Sean has a dash available, but the way the Monsters are setting up right now, it looks as though they want to flirt with A. Once they realise the information comes through, the smokes will be toyed around with. But look at the positioning here from Zero. Smoke comes in, but Garden really can be flirted with right now if you are the Monsters. Zero has no idea what's happening here and has a tripwire to spare off of the respawn. But right now the smokes come in. Sean though does throw him, and the Peekers does not favour him. Polar finds a kill, but off of that Archie clears up 2 more. We saw the factors that he can pull off in previous rounds, and only again adding more to the sheer firepower of Undateables and really extending the lead they want to have in this series. Could be an 8-3 round after this one based off of logic.
Yeah, and that no one walks away though. It's going to be very difficult for them. Chromazone, yeah, finds Tanko, and that KO is still going to be suppressing. Is that going to be enough for Zero in custody as they push through, as they absolutely try and retake the site? But Zevil's trapped back here with the Spike. Spike isn't even down. There's only 30 seconds left, and Zevil's been found, put to 5 HP. That Spike is going to they're going to have to start thinking about planting that very soon. But Zevil, so little HP, so little time. Custody being tagged out. Zero swings through, finally puts him down as 1 versus 2. Chromos only has to do it, but he can. Zero puts him down.
And that's enough. That's enough to get the 8-3 converted. Now heading to the last round before the swap. So, some key points here to highlight, James, is obviously going to be the full buys coming in from both sides. But more importantly, it's going to be a Knives and a Hunter's Fury on the side of the Monsters that can be played around with so easily and so effectively.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely right, and not really much in the way of orb access for Undateables to kind of maybe pick up. You know, we see 3 people, 2 or 1 ult point away from their ultimates, but it's just not enough for them, and it's last round. It's probably not going to be enough for them. We won't see anything come through for them.
Spammer coming in as well.
Love the Hail Mary. Love the Odin Hail Mary. Oh my days.
Revealing area.
Tanker down. Oof, try and swing it fast, but Custody and Sean there find a clear 2. Headshot connects with Polar, and there's your jet out of the equation. Knives now completely wasted off. And Undateables now playing off of it, but Hunter's Fury has to be spammed, and Archie is in line of sight. Grieveless finds a kill, as now it's down to the last 75. Sean swings fast and takes care of Z-Evil in all the process. Smokes, though, will be remaining, so the exit here onto Arch can be very tight for Grieveless to get through, but the recon dart's what was needed. Sean, though, does in fact spam the shots correctly, and no information is given away. Knives spam through the cage, and now if you're on Undateables, it's going to be 4v2, but it's so hectic, it's so chaotic. Grieveless needs to force himself onto the site fast, and it's going to be a difficult take based on the positioning right now. Zero's playing some great shoulders onto Heaven. Nano Swarm goes out in the front. Sean the Sheep is just going to play around the block here carefully, because on low HP, and so Zero, it's going to be difficult to retake. But look at where the KO and so positioned here. You can line up perfectly onto the site here, but the way the smokes have played out, the Monsters can't force any aggression. Nano Swarm goes out though, and Sean gets tagged and forced out. Chromazone can find a Phantom kill, and a second to boot, and now it's a 1v2, and Undateables are whittling away here. The lockdown comes online, and even that Tanko finds 1 in the second connect. No, it comes! Grievous gets it done, and it's 3 that round. Oh my god, it's an 8-4, and the average I spoke about as well at the start comes to light.
Oh, Connie gets it down in one. Absolutely incredible. What a push from the Monsters. With an Odin staring you down from tree. 2 players there to absolutely get that and to come down to just classics at the end of it. The absolutely incredible play from the Monsters. And yeah, once again, Connie, you read it in one. 8-4 half for the side of Undateables. That Cypher, though, not going to be as impactful anymore. Is going to be stopping the flanks, but isn't going to be completely carving up a site like he once did, and we might see Zero fall off because of it. That's kind of where the Cypher versus the Killjoy really can start coming into effect here. Chromazoni can get a lot of value on defense now, whereas they couldn't on offense, and Zero's finding themselves in the same but opposite position.
Shaun Sheep, though, just playing off of it as it is. And yeah, now that the half is swapped, we are going to be seeing the loadouts and the ults being reset, but the scoreboard remaining the same for the most part. But look at it right now. Undateables making a great effort here through mid. Lambert will go off. So at this point now, if you are on Undateables, you have to make the plays fast to try and effectively coordinate your site. The Monsters, though, can play off so much time, and the reposition here as well for Nikeo and Z Evil is only going to add to boot. But the way they're playing positioning again here is off of the tripwires. So once it gets shot, you give away position straight away, and you can't afford it on a pinch, especially now at this point here. Polar, though, playing careful in the smoke. Turret will, of course, get information down. But off that, do you want to force a dash and get onto site, or do you want to solely rely on Chromazoni here to take care of business? Now, at this point here, the support is required, but Shaun and Sheep and Polar trade out there to make it a 4v4. Counting down now, it's going to be whittling away, and Grievous and Polar there get more added to the feed. 4v2 on the cards here, make it a 4v1. You're going to rely on Archie here to get it done and dusted, but on 5 HP, it's going to be a huge dream if it's executed to perfection.
Yeah, I mean, 5 HP in a dream. We are seeing Archie absolutely. He still has 2, though. Has to get the spike down as well. Pola just has to play this patiently. It's just all down to this. If Pola somehow goes down with this, then Archie can really start making a dream come true. And he's going to find him. Actually gets the shots onto him as well. Spike is down on the site. 23 seconds counting down. Rudy absolutely tiptoeing his way down the sidewalk. Archie's playing this so passively. Has no clue where Rudy is. Tries to smoke off stair, but he doesn't realise. Yeah, he's all the way in sidewalk. And what was so close to being an absolutely god tier retake and clutch, unfortunately drops at the end by Rudy.
And Archie himself as well. Let's highlight those 12 assists he has on the board. So really, in terms of the team shooting dynamic and the fundamentals in Valorant, Archie's been involved in lots of 2v1 close quarter combat engagements. So really, you are seeing the pressure in full amount here in the Undateables corner. The Monsters, though, again, are just sort of relying quite a lot here on Chromazoni's retakes or even Z with smokes. Because again, a lot of the plays we are seeing here is Z with smoke really aggressive onto a site and then just playing around the exit points to try and get a good peek as advantage. Now, at this point here, though, it's going to be another mid hit here, but Spike left alone for now. Information needs to be given to both sides.
Information gather and just take that time. Archie getting up the orb, exactly what you need. Every single ult point counts at this point. They want to be getting the most value as well. Something I want to point out very quickly as well. DMU coming into this map, Undateables obviously picked it, but DMU picking attack side. Very, very interesting decision, because as you pointed out, you know, much more defender side at 8-4 half, but maybe the Monsters know that. Maybe they're happy to go down and then you know, we've heard that they love their comebacks, and maybe this is another time, but Undateables actually starting to pick up the kills. Pola getting this flank through, but that's only a ghost. That's going to have to do so much. Grieveless picks up custody, but they know where he is now. They know that they maybe don't know where that tree's been held, and the spike is going to go down. Undateables 4 versus 3, trying to take the spike, make sure it clicks down. Pola trying to back out. Shaun actually just pushing it through. Sova Dart coming through, and Chromazoni dropping down, but finding the barrel of Archie's gun to his dome, and it's going to be 1 versus 4. Grieveless has to make it happen.
It's going to be so difficult as well, but that was a great aggression there from Shaun to find a kill. Archie, though, in the end gets the wallbang through. Now, at this point, if you're on the Monsters, potentially we could see a timeout being called here. I think, James, at this point, logically, you would want to go for that, and Rudy Boy again there,
wow, what
making my dreams come to light.
Yeah.
It's only based off of the momentum right now, and James, you really could explain for me right now just the impact of the side of Undateables, the Monsters, and really what's been going wrong.
I mean, to be fair, it's very difficult to say. The Monsters just, as pointed out, as we just mentioned, you know, DMU did pick attack. And you pointed out, you know, 8-4 usually on the side of defense, just because of how this map is split. But maybe the Monsters knew that, and maybe this was their time that they wanted to feel a bit more comfortable in defense. But Undateables just shown that maybe not. Undateables have just shown, no, they're comfortable in attack. They can take a site, they can hold it, they can really take all the space they need and really push you out of anything and stop you from creating any sort of value. So the Monsters really have to stop stop now and think, how do we take that back off Dateables? How do we keep control of these space? How do we keep control of that? I mean, because Astra versus Omen, in terms of space being taken, Astra can probably take the most space out of any controller in the game, and Omen, unfortunately for him, he can't even put both his smokes down at the same time, let alone cover an entire site. So I think we're just going to have to see a lot more value kind of come out from these smokes to try and keep up with the Astra from Archie.
We have two different smoke players, bear in mind. Archie is being so locked for the choke points, whereas we are seeing Zevo get a bit more aggressive with them, only really throwing them after a kill is found. Now, to note again here on defense, you can find more information out of the KO Omen combination, and maybe you can find out of the other Sova. But my real point here to eject to you guys is that they need to play it fast. And that is where you're seeing Dateables coming to fray here. Open smoke goes down, but look at that right there. We were seeing a huge dash from Z-Evil. Shorty goes in. Still a Paradox player there, but Sean gets out in time. And that was a huge moment. Passing cars. I think we've seen it in the movie cutscene before. But now it's happening here in Valorant today. Divide comes in as well, and that's locking off all of heaven. You can't really force anything here if you are the monsters, because your retake has been split off by the Astra ult. Tanko there finds one onto Z-Evil. And now we're seeing the swing come in here because Grieveless can try and get shots down. Does find one, but it's Zero and Tanko trading up there for a nice pinstripe kill feed, making it a 3v2, and Dateables still have man advantage.
Yeah, exactly. In these Cypher cages now, we did see they're not great on attack, but once you've got that post plant, you can start really creating the spiderweb. Tanko even picking up the Sova dart onto the KO in 3, and on Dateables, yeah, taking us to 10-5, doubling up the rounds on Demonsters, and Demonsters have to do something. That timeout doesn't seem to have really worked out in their favor. They didn't seem to be able to get anything. The Astra Wall just cutting apart, as you mentioned it, Connie. That Astra Wall cutting apart the A site. There was no retake and possibility for Demonsters, and we witnessed them just collapse in the sight of Undateable's pressure.
Oh my goodness. Now we're heading into a 10-5. This is very, very hard for the monsters to formulate something effective here, but don't worry, Vandals on the side here. It needs to be a converted round if we do want to see the monsters here, you know, find a momentum switch they so desperately look for even after the timeout. And Dateables, though, still smiling from ear to ear. 10-5. It's looking good there in the last 90 seconds of this round.
Absolutely, and the Sova darts are going to come through now. They're really, yeah, we do see like this characteristic aggression from Sean. You know, very much you want to see your duelists going in and getting space. They don't even necessarily need to get kills, they just need to create space. But Sean, best of both worlds, getting the frags and the space, completely controlling it for his team. As Rudy now trying to keep this market hold from going through, but it looks like it probably will. The Astra smokes go through. Yeah, the Sova is going to find Rudy Boy, probably going to get tagged through the wall. Actually makes it away with his life, takes away. They know where he's there, and the rest of the market push going to be coming through now. The Hunter's Fury just comes through from Grieveless, barely able to find, doesn't get that kill quite onto Rudy, very close, or quite onto, actually I don't know who it is, Custody I think it was, yeah it was Custody, not able to get it. Rudy though finishing up for him, the flash coming through, doesn't swing off of it. Pola actually finds Zero on the flank, and all of a sudden Undateables have been torn apart.
This is great work from Rudy and Pola. They eliminate all of the flank pressure and all the pinch that could have been for Undateables. So now we're seeing a 2v5 here. Tanko has, of course, shifted onto site here, but looking at Rudy's positioning here again, maybe a re-smoke in favor for Archie, but at this point now, you are playing off of what is happening between Rudy and the rest of the team. Swing comes in here, Rudy finds a clear 2. Make it 4 that round for the boy. As now, the monsters get around back on the board here.
Yeah, congratulations. A message to you, Rudy. Yeah, man, we were saying, to be fair to him, he was kind of keeping the bottom of that scoreboard kind of low, but immediately rising, shooting up there, 7-13-10 instead of that 3-13-10. A lot more comfortable. Only 1 kill behind Z-Evil. Really taking that round for the monsters, putting them all back on the map, allowing them a full eco buy, except for the exception of Chromazone having that light shield. But this is not yet. If the monsters can take this round, Undateable's econ is in the bin, and the monsters might be able to take that momentum and bring us somewhere a lot closer.
Of course, it is favouring them now. The economy's looking pretty even, and even after that, they kept most of their players alive here. So, flawless round in my books in terms of the economy heading into this one. But looking at the holds here from the monsters, lots of X holds coming in here in those choke points in market. So, that's a great initial setup there, but the smokeless counter it for now. Sean can just re-smoke as well off of that. But even there and again, Dateables are just playing passive. So, at this point now, it's some great utility usage again here, because now Z-Evil is just playing around with the smokes and market, gonna opt for a little TP there back, and now you're seeing aggression coming here. Polar now down to 33 HP here. Doesn't want to sacrifice too much here. Again, has the knife to play with, but if you're on the side of Undateables, you've got so much breathing room, especially when it comes to taking and clearing, because you are so close to victory. You're going to clinch it here, maybe, but the monsters, again, have got all that it takes to come back in these situations.
the comeback kings through and through, and if they have to prove it any time, it is now. But they're pushing through. Chromazoni's Killjoy hold. It was a Cypher hold originally when these sides were swapped, but there we go. The turret gonna make some contact, gonna get a few shots through. The knife gonna come through and actually disable Chromazoni entirely. This is huge. Undateables need to push off of this space. They do, but they shape. What? From the updraft, those bullets still connect. Rudy finding custody through the smoke, nearly finding Sean as well. That spike is going to go down. The knife going to disable a little bit of util, not too much. Oh, Zevil clears the angle onto Zero, but not with intent, and loses his head for it. Zero using down the Cypher cage to stop Pola. And now the spike, though, taken down. The monsters have to do something.
Are we free now? Undateables are looking comfy here, but it is a post plant, so at this point you can't afford too much here. Eliminations have to come in. Shooting the sheep, though, does drop an Archer to trade. Zero of another. Now it's looking great for Undateables, as it's all down to Grieveless. Not trying to grieve his losses here in this round. Has a recon off the respawn as well to try and get information. Zero, though, does in fact win the gunfight. Now Undateables only 2 away from clinching victory.
Yeah, exactly. The monsters really needed that round. They really needed to cut a hole in Undateable's pockets and drain their econ through it. But now it looks like the monsters able to take this by the one more round of a full bipolar, even pulling out the op. Absolutely crucial. They will have to get some amount of value out of it before Undateables just take this away, because it really is looking like this is the monsters' fight or flight in terms of it. They have to take this round against Undateables. I was going to say Undateables 2 ultimates, but really only one. Blade Storm and the Cypher not getting too much value, mainly just because there's no corpses to get the value off of, because everyone's already dead.
Absolutely. That's spot on. I couldn't agree more. But that solely again comes down to the repositioning factors that we are seeing the monsters trying to commit to. They want to try and force an immediate trade, but Undateables have the second man there to force almost single gunfights into double crossfires, which is never a good fundamental really to reinforce for your team, because you are going to lose 2 lives there and make it a 5v3. That's where Undateables find their success, and even after, they only commit to the plant if they have got man advantage.
Speaking of man, oh my days, you say man advantage, and Archie takes Bola's head off. Absolutely critical timing. But that's an A side completely freed up, actually, and it looks like the Undateables kind of know that. I'm sure we are seeing Chromazoni getting a bit of info in terms of that noise. The paranoia is going to come through. Grieveless pushing through the smoke as well. But we do see this is such a split push, but the monsters aren't falling for it.
Numerically, it can be an advantageous push if needed, because you're playing 2s here, but you have to rely solely on the X-holes. Again, I really highlight this sort of setup here for playing a Crossfire, because it requires at least 2 or 3 adjustments on the Undateables to try and lock onto the head, whereas the monster's only hold one angle, and it's going to be almost a guaranteed kill. Now, Chromazoni could potentially shift forward here, but Flash comes in, and even after that, the neutral theft, which really is beneficial for the Undateables. They're going to have almost split reads here on the presence. Sean the Sheep finds the evil. Even that Archer takes care of Rudy Boy. Chromazoni couldn't find one constellation, but Tanko takes care of him. Wallbang through, straight to the body. Now in a 1v4, Grieveless spamming through the smoke here. It's only a small one-way, but he needs to get it done. Heaven might be the only way to wrap through, the only course of action you need to take if you're on the monsters. Undateables are having so much control here. Grieveless, I think, wants to opt for the save. Going into the last round, potentially, of this series, it's going to be a wise move, especially with what's happening right now and the way it's panning out for the monsters.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what a push came through. The neural theft absolutely splitting that site apart. You took the words right out of my mouth, to be honest, Connie, because genuinely it was just too much for the monsters to keep up with. One thing I want to point out for Undateables as well, they have been so happy to wait until the last 20 seconds and then commit. They do, as you said, you know, they're happy to wait until they have the man advantage, until they have all the space in the world. They don't rush in with a minute still left on the timer. They know they don't need to. They're happy to wait. They're happy to play that patience game. And the monsters, I mean, we have been seeing typically very aggressive players. Maybe they just can't slow that down. Now, some people just get very antsy. I know myself. I play against a really patient team. I get antsy. I want to just push. I want to just take the fights. And I'm never offered that. And the Undateables have been absolutely crushing that aspect.
The monster's now been taken to the wire here. They are almost touching distance away from falling out and placing top 3. You really have to dig deep now for the monsters. You can't let this slip from your grasp. You need to punch a ticket into the grand finals. You need redemption against Swansea Tsunamis. But the way Undateables have been playing is almost biblical. A scripture waiting to be written.
Oh, waiting to be written exactly. I like roten. I prefer roten.
Yeah, that's a scrap from me and my
vocab. No.
I was flirting between the words, but let's focus on the gameplay here right now. Cosmic Divide comes in here, fences off heaven. Look at Undateable's push here right now. A jet dash onto the side, and even there and again, Grieveless has been stopped by the KO dart, or the knife, I should say. Sean the Sheep, though, again here, great positioning here off the Cosmic Divide. Criminality finds Archie through. Wow. Okay, through a smoke, that's really, really impressive. But now Undateables again here, just going to try and collapse fast onto the point, get it down as much as they can. Oh! Sheep with 2 clear. Rudy Boy and Polar falling to the hands of a man with a Vandal. And now again, it's going to be hard for the monsters to come back.
Yeah, smoke that Cypher as well, getting that tag. Tango picks up, and yes, Sean picks up Zeeble, and that is us, ladies and gentlemen. The Undateables comfortably take us 2-0, putting the Monsters third into the bracket and going to meet the Tsunami in Confetti. Saturday, April the 23rd. Remember to save the date because it is going to be an absolutely explosive finale. Connie, what was that?
That was just simply a masterclass from the Undateables. Again, this name probably originated from, I don't know, some small minor ITV show, but now it really has transferred into a Valorant super team. At the university level, Undateables punched their ticket through to the grand finals of Amazon University Esports UK and Ireland, and simply a round of applause from me and James. Nothing more can be said.
I mean, yeah, golf clap coming through. The Monsters really trying to take... I mean, Icebox, very clearly their pick. They were able to take Undateables to, I think, a 10-13, 11-13. But that time, that map was just clinical from the Undateables. You knew that was their pick. You knew they had the control, regardless of which side they were on. I mean, we said, you know, you were completely correct, Connie, on that 4-8 call halfway through. But there was no 4-8 that second half. That was all Undateables going off of the rails onto Monsters.
I think in terms of it all now, Undateables have got so much here to prove. Now, they're in grand finals. They're facing Swansea Tsunami, who will go into grand finals with a 1-map advantage. But overall, Madden, still so much really to think about heading into the latter portion of April.
I know, and unfortunately, it would have been an absolute clean... It would have been an absolute dream to watch the Monsters really take it back to the finals, to take down the people that, or to very least go against the people that put them down on the bracket, but it was not meant to be. Instead, Undateables take them down, push them into top 3, which is still very respectable. At no point do we want to diminish that. You know, top 3 in this, whenever there are teams that are so confident, so well played. I mean, am I right in saying, was it the Monsters ended up taking down our last champions of spring? Or at the very least, it was Undateables. Yeah, allow me to get a quick refresher on that, if we're able to find them.
Yeah, so Undateables originally came into the lower bracket off of WoW. Okay, so they came into the lower bracket after Kill Vandals won. So they've been there since top 8. So they've ran through the entirety of everyone. Birmingham Bulls dropping down, not the best. Kill Vandals in a rematch, and now the Monsters. And Undateables are looking to make a Cinderella run here, which is even more to add to the storylines.
Oh, absolutely. Get the storylines. Get this lore coming through. It looks like such a bracket. I mean, very quickly as well, you Go Next are being taken out by them, previous reigning champions from the spring split. So we're getting 2 fresh-faced teams coming through in the finals, which is always so interesting because the finals is so much more different to any other beast a lot of these players will have. Some of them may have had experience with a LAN before, but for a lot of these players, this is going to be their first experience, and LAN jitters are very, very real.
Oh, I know. I mean, we did see it briefly in the Go Exeter PSC series where Go Exeter were 2 up, and then they did lose 2 maps concurrently. I think it was going to be a Breeze and an Ascent. But did about close it out again on the Haven in the very last. But again, these are all factors. And even that, mentally draining being at LAN, because time management is the huge factor for players there, going for the venue, playing 5-6 hours of Valorant flat, with only a limited amount of breaks here, and then having to re-adapt your mental to get back into the swing of things again. It can be quite a huge brain slosh, if you will call it that, you know, that adjective.
Brain slosh is a fantastic way to put it, because it's exactly what it is. You do feel that melting kind of through. But that has been it, ladies and gentlemen. This has been an absolute blast. Congratulations again on Undateables. Commiserations to Monsters still, though. Be very proud of yourself at that 3rd place. Thank you very much for tuning in. Connie, take us away.
But Madden, I do believe that we are going to have an interview with Archie. Archie is the in-game leader for the Undateables. So with all blessings in disguise, we could throw to a break, or we could throw straight to the interview.
Yeah, let's see the 50-50.
I know it's a huge one. Coin flip, if you will. But overall, there, I think when we're back shortly after this very quick break, going to have Archie on board. And me and James are going to ask a few questions heading into the man that has also qualified his team onto, well, should we say it, Amherst University Esports Finals over in Nottingham. So don't go anywhere. Be back shortly.
Transcend humanity with Omen.
What is that?
It's cutting edge VR, Flynn.
It looks like it's something from the future, you know?
Flynn took a trip to future London. Saw something she wasn't supposed to. Now people from there are trying to kill us.
Oh, enjoy. Hello everyone and welcome back to Amazon University Esports UK Ireland, brought to you by Omen, Prime Video and Prime Student. Now, Madden, again, we just witnessed there a 2-0 from Data Balls as they now booked their ticket into the grand finals of Amazon University Esports. And again, almost an instant reaction from you there as to how fantastic the gameplay was. We just witnessed there for those last two maps.
Yeah, very much congratulations to them. Once again, commiserations from the Monsters. Very well fought, very hard played and hard fought to the end. But Undateable's just clutching it out, and we are about to get ourselves a very exciting interview with the IGL of Undateables once he gets his way shimmied over here and mic'd up and ready to go and happy, and we're looking very much forward to it. But yeah, and I think that is the beautiful noise that signifies he is here. Hello, RJ, how are you?
I am good, thank you.
Yeah, very well. Very much congratulations again.
Archie,
Thank you.
We were saying that before, but congratulations. So first things first, because one of the questions that I want to ask particularly was, what would you guys discuss during the timeouts? Because Connie and I had our thoughts and opinions, but to be honest, I wanted to hear it from you guys.
Yeah, so I don't think we actually called any timeouts like either of those two games.
No, you didn't.
No, it was the other side. It was all under Monsters.
Yeah.
They were down with the 2 or 3, and then they go for the call.
So usually we kind of we forget to make timeouts a lot of the time, but if we do make them, it'll be after we've lost like 4 or 5 rounds in a row, just to kind of mental reset. But it always feels good when you win a few rounds and then the enemy calls a timeout, because then you kind of know that they're in their own heads a bit, and then, you know, sometimes they'll call a timeout and try a fast strat. So I mean, it felt like when they did call those timeouts, it was kind of just reaffirming us that we were in control of the pace of the game. We knew where it was going. And it was just a point of keeping ourselves grounded.
Gave you guys all the confidence to kind of run with it. Yeah, it makes sense. And you just definitely showed it off.
Now, Archie, as well, to add on to that, I want to go more into the macro side of what you guys did in this split. So, you guys lost to Kill Vandals in the winners round 1, dropped into losers. You made a Cinderella story run against Birmingham Bulls, then rematched Kill Vandals as well in losers semis and won that one 2-0. And now you've just come here against the Monsters. So, you've gone from potentially being top 8 and finishing out that, you know, on a 1 lifeline to now punching your ticket into the grand finals. How does it feel making that sort of run? And, you know, how does the team feel in general?
It feels really good. You know, we're in the finals of NSE as well, so we've been playing a lot of games recently. We always start off a bit slow, and we knew that. And I think we had an off day when we lost that first best of 1. I think if that game was a BO3, we would have won that. But it just feels really good knowing that every week we get better as a 5. We can feel it in our games. Every game gets more convincing. And it feels really good when we get to beat a team that is kind of... I think we've been the underdogs in like every single game we've played, so it feels good to prove people wrong.
Yeah, the odds have been stacked against you, but you proved them wrong now and you've punched your ticket, so it is quite a show.
Yeah, it feels good.
I love me an underdog. Everyone knows that very much. I will root for the underdog right up until they're winning, in which case it's time for the other team to get a bit of love. But speaking of, actually, you know, you guys, I mean, as you said, you know, finalists for NSE as well. Without giving away kind of, obviously, you know, your tips and tricks and secrets of the trade, what are you guys going to be bringing to Confetti to really try and seal this out and to become the new champions for the spring split?
We're just going to keep doing what we're doing. We know we've got a really strong map pool. We didn't really play Icebox at all coming into this game, so I was kind of surprised that we were able to do so well on it. But yeah, I think our strongest point is our solid base of a map pool. We know that like whatever map it goes to, we're able to at least put up a fight. If it's not a convincing win for us, then we can at least put up a fight. Yeah, that's about it. We just stick to our fundamentals, really.
I mean, the good fundamentals. I mean, looking back very quickly, you said yourself you don't play Icebox, but you managed to take it 13-9 against DMU's pick. So I mean, yeah, whatever you guys are doing with that strong map pool, keep it up because it's working for you.
Now I'm going to ask you one more time as well, Archie. I actually want to kind of go more into your team dynamic there. I mean, we did touch briefly on as well the timeouts and a little bit, as well as Cinderella story. But how long have you guys been together for? I mean, the way you're playing Valorant, it sounds like you've had a few months under your belt to get together and really hash out some things. Get some reviews in the books, get some strats coordinated, kind of see what works and what doesn't, trial and error. But I kind of want to see, coming into this year, particularly of university, the challenges you faced at the start to where you are now.
Yeah, so I think two of us didn't actually play Valorant under the uni for last split in winter, and then coming into this split, we kind of pulled people from all the different teams to kind of make a super team.
I see.
Sort of thing.
Actually, to interrupt you a little bit there as well, it kind of reminds me of PSC's format, because the way PSC was ran as well, they weren't originally going to play with Emphasis and Inklo, and this was the last split against Nexeter. They brought them in because they had no teams going into the other Valorant leagues, and they just had a free time, so they came in there and completely revitalized their roster. So you're saying as well, this is what happened to your team in a way?
Yeah, 100%. We when we first came together, it was a bit rough because we played a few games and we were losing really badly. But once we kind of got gelled together and meshed our playstyles and kind of figured out the strengths and weaknesses of our players as people, then it was kind of easy to see it coming together as we started making runs through all the tournaments we play.
Thank you very much, Archie. We'll conclude it there. Again, great speaking to you and well done. Congratulations. You have punched your ticket to the Amazon University Esports Grand Finals in Nottingham on April 23rd. You can watch it live as well on the Null, and even better as well, I think at this point now we'll throw the broadcast there, James. Again, a huge thank you to everyone involved and yourself. I mean, how are you feeling after that?
Yeah, no, I'm feeling absolutely great. I am fired up. I mean, that's going to be a long wait for April, but it will be certainly worth it. Undateable's going against Swansea, and yeah, I think that is going to be signing us off. So, Connie, just because you're so good at signing us in, you will be the one to sign us off. But just before, thank you so much, everyone, for having me, and I can't wait to see you again very shortly.
It has been a gruel of a split. We're down from now originally hundreds of teams down to our last two. It's going to be Swansea Tsunami versus the Undateables for their chance at claiming the crown of Amazon University Esports UK and Ireland. Of course, brought to you by Omen, Amazon Student and Prime Video. Thank you all so much, and we'll see you very soon at LAN. Don't go anywhere!